So for Order, however, I'm sure that Onyx G have done their research and they're going to have something in store for the Order side. So they can't get complacent, they have to start strong, and they need to move very well if they get a win on Breeze.
I think it is a very bold statement for Order to be picking Breeze as their map as well. We know that it is a comfort pick from them, but as it was alluded to before, they shied away from it in their opening stage. So whilst we do look at the agents,
Nonton
lean towards the fact if we do see a repetition, if we see something that we've got these teams playing before, or if we're going into new territory, and it is looking like being a bit of the familiar territory for the side of Order at the moment, which means you would be expecting to see kind of what they do normally come out with here, but on the flip side, over towards Onyx.
This is completely different. RDW on the KO, Disco on the chamber. This is massive. I think this could be a really exciting thing to see because it is going to completely shake up the way that we do see Order play. Onyx G, again, as you mentioned, probably a little bit more common of what we can expect, but the strength and the, I guess the youth that they've got going right now, it's crazy stuff to see. But look, overall, I think, a little bit of a change up of the agents. Maybe Disco's going to slot into this one nicely. We see him back onto a really, really strong agent.
Yeah, just the switch between those two from the last showing of that. But for Onyx G, it's the time to showcase their spotlight in the LCQ to see if they can battle the Aussies right now, starting on the attackers' side as well. Pivoting over towards B for the first showcase.
It's a good lean. Disco having a bit of a spot through. Does play the anti. Spotted. They get the info, but he's missed a couple of shots here. Still does have the rendezvous available, but they've got to be quick on this rotate here. Already Komodo. Texter is here, and he does spot out some info, but that Cloudburst is going to make it awkward. Couple of warning shots. Monyet, though, gets the opening here, and it's going to be a tough retake.
NC Slasher with the Wolf as well, able to pop down towards Texter. Made that duel a little bit awkward, and in the player advantage for Onyx G. The spike does go down, but RDW with a quick little flank happening. He is currently the only one that they're looking for the hunt as well onto Severine.
Nice, Severine.
By the classic. With this toxic drain, you know that Onyx are going to push through this, bully their way to lock down this round, and end it just like that. Ronski now in an almost impossible situation with this 1 versus 4 Sheriff in hand. But nobody's giving him the opportunity for the duels at the moment. Now he's been noted, and his grave is where he will be found.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a groggy sort of position there. Texter getting caught by that stun, so it made it very awkward for him on the way in. And then they just couldn't quite get themselves there. We got to see Onyx push through the toxic screen, really get that pinch onto Maple. So overall, fantastic stuff from Onyx. I think a really electric way to start Breeze is a real kind of foot down on the map, and something they can bound off on into the next couple of rounds.
Absolutely, of course, with the very long lines that Breeze does allow for.
Let's go.
Kita lihat aja. Be very potent over towards the Order members who, of course, didn't really get too much happening in that previous round, so going to be regardless of these pistols get the guns into the next one. For us, it kind of is just one of those rounds where, Order, you look for a little bit of damage, of course, but really it's going to be that next one to see what they can do.
Just the walk into elbow again. Maple having a spot down tube, but nothing has been seen. Disco, great shot onto Elmi Moore. And that is going to sort of set them off a little bit. Look at this already. The wrap straight in. Cave is taken upon, but Maple sitting at the pyramids. He's going to have to wait. He'll spot all that information shortly.
Yeah, he's going to be really careful if anyone does push through the screen, and that's exactly what's happening. But somehow with the classic, he's able to find it, and even a dink on towards NC Slasher, which means no self-heals to be happening. The spike carrier's down as well with Ronski finding him. This round is becoming shambles for Onyx G. Disco to Severine, and now it is just Shiro in a 1 versus 3. Can he find 3 1v1s though is the question.
Exactly, they've got to be so careful. This is Order's round to lose here right now. Shiro does have the spike in hand. He's going to be able to walk his way through those double doors, and looks like he's actually setting his sights. No, I was going to say B, but no, he's clearing back into the flank on Cave. Is he going to be able to get the jump?
Yeah, well, 40 seconds. He can navigate his way silently for a little bit more, but already Disco is aware of this factor. They're covering all of their angles, leading Texter to go for a bit of a hunt. They know where Shiro is. They tag him as well, which means pretty much any of these guns that Order are currently carrying will be able to finish him off. A plant here.
Dapat plan doang nih kayaknya. Cuma 23 HP cuy, klasik pun satu tembakan.
United, right? A second round classic buy is just something that should never happen, and it was Onyx G really sort of falling into the hand there, trying to push that toxic screen. Maple getting the dink off onto the second player as well, and Disco getting that forward thinking play down towards elbow really sets him up for a fantastic position. Ronski's gone down, he's got to be careful, but it's Disco with the 3K, and that's the man we were talking about, right? He was the Raze extraordinaire that we used to see on Icebox. you know, he's basically ever since then been placed on that KO, placed on that Killjoy, and now we're finally starting to see him get a bit of that extra life back. He's had a long history of FPSD on, and now we're getting to see him on the chamber, which is the big shooty boy with both those headhunters and Tour de Force. And he's sitting at top already 3-1 with a great start, great response, 1-1 on the scoreline.
That round is definitely a wake-up call over towards Onyx as well. Right? As you mentioned, you should never be dropping towards the classics in this sort of fashion, and it was the very quick nature of towards cave through mid as well. They really upset the balance. So for Onyx, they're going to be down into these pistols now, and they're going to have a discussion between themselves. What do they do when it does look in towards the betterment of the guns for themselves as well? Or maybe you just throw caution to the wind and somehow you're able to buy back over towards Order that do what they just did to you.
So how do they reapproach this one, Onyx? Sheriff's up. Always an opportunity to do the exact same. Cloudburst is going to go in, same toxic screen. And Ronski's going to ready himself this time. He's actually pretty keen for an overextension.
Oh no.
It's going to work out well.
Oh no, Cahaya nggak ngeliat itu tadi.
In the wrong way.
Oh no.
There, the left instead of the right, and RDW does get a good response, but that is going to be that Vandal. No ammo, dropped by Maple. Exactly right. No ammo. Didn't get that time to reload, so it's all on the Severine. 1 versus 4.
Jelek posisinya.
Will go down quickly. So a great counter eco there from
dia nggak bisa lari ke belakang. Nanti kelihatan dari tengahnya piramid kalau dia lari ke belakang. Makanya dia stay di sana.
Execute in towards the A side, try to get the plant down, and maybe wrestle with Order after the fact. But already, you know, denied by Ronski, starting to get early into this game would be really good for him individually as well. With the performance we were seeing from him yesterday. But this is the round. This is the one where we need to see something come through from both of these sides. Everybody's got those guns up. Disco has an operator as well coming into round number 4, which is always going to be a bit of an excitement factor. But for me right now, it is for Onyx G. We've gone a little bit fast in the previous rounds. Does that change here?
Nice.
Straight out, Ronski.
Ya kan?
Monyet
ketemu Ronski. Ya tunggu, nggak bisa reflect. Sova pasti mundur ngelihat arah itu.
Ronski arguably could be put up as the best talent to come out of the Oceanic region, but his consistency is what is plagued. He's a super excitable and aggressive player, and if you can't quite get that opening duel, which obviously back in Australia, he can absolutely dome everyone, but in Asia, everyone's cracked. It's insane, so they've got to be ready for it as all.
A minute on the clock. The wall goes up over at the A site as well, and this is where the shift does start to come through from Order. They know exactly where one member is at the moment for Maple, but with this spike starting to go down, the pit is here as well for Severine.
Oh no!
Severine, that's the pit. He's got a massive reveal on the spray down. Everything is happening around this site for Order right now. NC Slasher falls over as well.
NC Slasher telat banget.
That's the one you want to see.
Harusnya dia udah tahu berapa banyak musuh yang udah ada di sana ya kan. Informasi dari temannya, makanya kita harus tetap melihat bininya. Tapi mereka lebih pro sih.
We have seen every individual step up to the plate, which is exactly what you're going to need to see.
Nah, itu kelihatan semua tuh posisinya.
That battle between, you know, Australia and Indonesia right now, the strength to strength, and Onyx G have so much to prove.
And you can see early on as well, Severine immediately trying to get that pit over towards the default plan spot, but you already had mollies on the floor from Techstar, and just quick shots to come through from Maple. The pit didn't even fully spawn before he was dead.
A gift.
Back to the Sheriff, straight up mid this time, just the headhunter for Elmi Moore again, and look at Ronski, he's already keen to start having a look. But again, they've always got to be careful. You know, we've watched Monyet and how strong he is of a player. They do get that info. Maple now sending. Now drone inside mid will be destroyed, but again, Ronski's so keen. Look at it now, there's one. The guy
no, Monyet. No.
It's perfect, there's Ronski. It's just eco frag Skonky, settle down, but there's 3.
Oh, look, he's still running a mark, isn't he? He's going to overlook the bricks, but maybe he could have attempted an ace, but maybe Severine actually finding some damage here out with this Sheriff, and that is
susah banget sih.
Too much lost, but still, great result. Ronski, hungry, those are the eco frags that he needs to drive himself forward.
Yeah, and this is the guns time again for Onyx. Not going to be opting for a pause at the moment to try and reset themselves. They'll be feeling comfortable going into this new gun round as well. The thing is, they have seen a lot of early contests from Order.
Nah, itu nggak masuk lagi. Nge-flash temannya sendiri.
Yeah, team flash, so that's a little bit awkward.
Nah, itu sama casternya juga diomongin team flash.
As I was mentioning, they've seen a lot of aggression from Order so far, right? Cave control, mid pressure, not too much over towards B, but a little bit of an elbow creep here and there. This round for Order, I feel that changes it. 2 operators generally will slow things down.
Settle down for sure. Ronski's likely going to take an aggressive line. He's taking it over from Pyramids. That's going to allow RDW to sort of walk his way into Cave. And he's already looking to get that position. He's straight in there, and now it's going to be onto this defense. They've left mid completely open. There's already a member over in window as well.
Yeah, a bit more of a default come through for Onyx G here.
Dua side ada ini. Oh no.
But he gets his head popped off.
Dia udah bagus tadi.
Nggak siap aja. Definitely now is on Onyx G to do something to get back into it. Apparently NC Slasher, his choice of that is bringing out the Seekers, but really, they're gone now.
Mereka diam di tempat semua.
Like where that pick was found by RDW, right? He was looking all the way up to the top of tube, like to be able to get into that position.
Habis ini Ardu pakai ininya, 0 poinnya.
Lihat aja.
Dapat informasi rotation habis
They're a team that is dominant, they're aggressive, and they need to push back.
Oh. We're here in the ultimates being popped out. At the moment, it looks like Onyx G are going to set up for an A-side pop. They've got the wall down there currently from Severine. They have Shiro with the Hunter's Fury, his dart as well, still available at the moment. So it almost feels like perfect timing that Order ripped that in. But now with 30 seconds, do Onyx G still just trying to look to pivot over towards this A-site? You've got Severine lurking in mid, which disconnects him from the fight, making it still in the favor of Onyx G with the 3 versus 2 at the moment. Let's see if they can break in.
It's the only place they can go. 20 seconds. Have to push quickly. RDW flash in, but unfortunately, shots are a little bit shaky now. Ronski tries to open up with the Blade Storm, but he's going to be taken rotation from Texter, punished by Severine, and also Maple pressures on now. Monyet jumps up, but he has been taken. Now the plan of the spike does have to go in. Maple's moving quickly, but Severine, he's in a fantastic position here. It's going to be onto Disco to try and support. They have to clear. NC Slasher very, very low here, but that's that cross. There's that spot, and he's got it. Found it. Disco now knows exactly where this member is of Severine. He's held the cross, and Shiro, he's got the job done.
Itu yang dibutuhkan, Cik.
The patience as well after being met with the null command from RDW to fall back, make sure there's no overextension from the Order members, just reset internally and then go back at it for the execution over to the A side. A perfect mid flank cutoff as well with the Lurker and Severine sitting there, but man, a couple of whiff shots as well, all things considered from the Order members can technically make things a little bit easier from Onyx G, right? The Blade Storm misses out from Ronski, RDW's flash drive as well. Yes, it was a beautiful flash, but unfortunately, he couldn't convert that into the frags.
And they've got nothing now. Just a tour de force from Disco. He's going to activate that one. Where will he take it? That's the question. It looks like he's sent straight down towards mid. So he's looking through those doors, and he's got info already. But Elmi Moore and Monyet, he's just going to be going straight through. Look at this rat. Look at this, going straight into Akemoto.
And Ronski just got revealed as well. A secondary pop on toward his location, but the Blades miss. At least NC Slasher is there to assist. But Disco now with the tour de force. Everything is happening. These battles are still heavily slanted over towards Onyx G to try and close this round down. Disco with the tour de force. Texter coming in from a different location behind the wall. A pop through, and he finds it as well. Now it's all on to the captain, the leader in charge.
Sama Elmi Moore.
A spike plant open for
ini dari belakang udah
from Onyx G as well, and you know they're just going to play protective.
Oh no!
Elmi Moore misses the tour de force shot, however, and Texter is very narrow focused on this duel. A 1 versus 1, knows exactly where Monyet is playing from, sees his head, takes the frag, and Texter comes in with the clutch.
For anyone watching along at home, do you know how challenging it is to not only IGL, not only play controller, but be this much of a god at the game? The man has been all around the world in FPS.
Kalau naik ke atas itu kepalanya yang kelihatan dulu. Mending di bawah aja.
A monster in Texter. Onyx G did
atau pada saat si ini udah dari tadi naik ke atas.
He's been a little bit quiet on this chamber, and again attacking side, a bit more challenging. So look, so far Onyx G, they are throwing things in. They're certainly keeping Ronski steady.
Itu nggak siap dia juga.
The veterans, they are getting the job done.
2v4, man. A push through the own wall to still win out the frag. A little bit of a trampoline battle as well between those jets, and a kill taken out by NC Slasher. But you got to be really feeling it if you are Onyx G at the moment. These rounds where you've got such an advantage that you are falling over, and now into the fresh round where you've essentially gone in for a bit of a half buy, yeah, for sure, but you have lost the opening pick in the first 10 seconds.
Tapi ada chamber
di
sana.
The main thing here, just that pistol round right now. They're looking for a little bit more space. It's going to be Monyet. He's actually taken very, very low, but RDW are going to be completely blinded here. Disco spotted. That's going to make it hard. Really, really awkward now. It's an awkward with this operator and being spotted. It just
double ini, double pick.
Onto Monyet from Texter, that's massive now. Maple keeps drops his
Nice.
focus,
Satu lagi.
goes back to the captain in the 1v2 here again. Komodo, Onyx G forcing them backs up against the wall. That pressure, spotting out the shoulders. Shiro on the line, but now he has to cross.
Nice.
And it will be Shiro, the sniper, to shut down the captain of Texter, and around goes straight back for Onyx G.
Stolen
Anjir,
the operator
ini nih,
out of the hands
bagus,
of
Cuk.
a dead Disco right now as well, and you could just see a
Padahal
couple of
dia
missed shots from him.
dalam
Could have
keadaan
been
half
key for
buy
bringing
tadi.
the round back over towards Order, but for Onyx G, you're exactly correct in the mentioning that they hadn't really wrestled with the fact of the B side here, getting into Order quickly, overwhelming Order with sheer numbers, and even though it was those lesser weapons that I did mention, and the fact that they lost the first pick in that round, Elmi Moore out of the equation, they're still able to break it down, steal the gun to close it.
That was the first round where we really saw Onyx feel the Onyx applied it, they forced straight in towards B. That's where they found the first round. That's where now they found the third round. So that's where we do need to start to see a little bit.
Oh no, miss Disco weaving juga. Untung banget dia. Kalau enggak weaving paling enggak dapat satu tadi Disco.
Not much to talk about. They're setting their sights straight onto B again. Komodo, this is where they did manage to get it last, and a wallbang shot onto Maple from Elmi Moore, finding that round towards Elmo.
Oh, nggak kena
to
aja.
use that rendezvous to get out. Texter repositioned.
Nice.
Oh no, the timing, almost the call was perfect.
Kena
from
slow.
Elmi Moore.
Nice,
He
kena
has to
slow.
try pick up more. The pieces have been dropped. The puzzle has been dropped. And RDW should be able to hear this rotation. If he can drop down the rope, it might be enough time to turn the orb.
Yeah, a 1 versus 4 though is always going to be a strugglesome thing. A single flash, a blade for sure, but as soon as his position is revealed, he has to do everything. He could find the timing. They're not looking at him at the moment, maybe expecting that Elmi Moore is watching this flank. There's the first one, doesn't know there's a second player over at the pyramids, does now. Severine tucked in toward the bricks. It's going to have to be destroyed or revealed, and the flash gets pulled out.
Timing.
That's unfortunate.
It's always those moments where you kind of want to see the highlight play irrespective of who it is, but he definitely had the right position. If he saw the other side of pyramids, maybe, but Onyx G locking it down.
Yeah, and the thing about that as well, Order again trying to push this directive of going fast, right? Really getting into the faces of Onyx. You could see that Texter, even though that the operator shot was gone over toward him, he still continued to essentially push toward their spawn through the other side of the KB main, rather, past elbow, taking a duel that sees two players, falls over very quickly.
The comms were quick, that's what I feel like, right? The second that he knew that he was making his way past that window,
sayang banget cuy.
It does happen to the best of us. Ronsky also found a nice shot, but Elmi Moore in that round was pivotal, I do believe, in his rotative position. Instead of going and trying to find the fight to RDW, he instead wraps around, tries to join his team towards those double doors, and now Coach Dick Stacey has likely called this pause. It's a perfect time to settle the medal and time out and relax to work out what exactly is going on. We do obviously have the marshals and the sheriffs picked up here, and this is really that, I guess, well, the last couple of rounds was that swing round for Onyx G, where they can really get that momentum back.
Yeah, and of course, coming into this, it's the opening map of the series. Onyx G's first showcase here in the LCQ. They, got the little path over into the second part of the bracket, but for Order, we saw the opening map yesterday, and the fact that it was a 2-0 should give them some bold confidence coming in toward this series. And look, 5 rounds on the defensive side already on this map is good, right? It is a great start, but they want to be chasing more. And the problem now is the fact that Onyx are getting very, very close, right? Knocking on their door. It's an eco round for Order right now, so it probably will tend in towards an equalization, 5 apiece, and then we might be selling a bit of a story where Onyx G can take the lead.
Yeah. They take the lead on the attacking side. That's where we really start to throw caution to the wind, I guess. We look at this veto and it was like, okay, Order have actually got a really, really solid one, but look at this rotation straight in. They've got a read, they've got something. But it's not the correct read, it does seem. Spike still dropped. Look at this lurk now, the rotation and wrap back to B. Order are nowhere to be found.
So this is one of the things, right? With Order being so aggressive time and time again, the fact that Onyx G aren't seeing them immediately means that something's up, right? Means that there's a different plan that Order have gone in with. And now that Tex has been taken down to 1 HP in mid, Onyx G have been presented with a bunch of information and knowledge they can work with.
No info either. Gains. RDW throwing down that 0 point. He is creeping into the elbow position now. Was actually just tagging 1, so he's going to lock onto that line. Severin already has made his way through. It's going to be awkward.
Nice, monyet.
With the pick, and that's going to be the pick going down as well. So it should be a nice and easy waltz in towards B for Onyx G.
Yeah, no one's on the side
Lemmy Mo dapat satu.
at the moment. Ronsky only has this Marshall.
Oh
Meanwhile,
no.
Texas did fall over toward the operator of Elmi Moore. So things are coming up hunky-dory in this round for Onyx G. They even might be able to finish this one off, holding every single gun into the next round. But Ronsky has crept up, caught NC Slasher using a bit of his utility. Yeah, for sure. Some trades are here, but the round essentially is done and dusted. Maple lurking in the pit, seeing what he can find. And it's going to be the Viper player in Severine. Maybe even a second onto Monjet, but he does narrowly escape. Damage is the name of the game in this round, of course, but for 5v5,
nice, Monjet.
Well done from Monjet. Just consistent, keeping their eyes on him. You know, sort of dashing around, making it really awkward, changing positions rapidly, and very much throwing the kitchen sink at order in these last couple of rounds, right? Onyx G, they've woken up, and, you know, it started what was looking really strong for order, and that's where exactly I mean, right? You know, you can't just rely on this sort of initial burst of life. It has to be consistent. It has to drag all the way through, because whilst we do know that order have a fantastic attacking side on Breeze, Onyx G, I'm sure their defense is going to look disgustingly good. Monjet likely to pick up that operator. Elmi Moore continuing to do the exact same thing. And overall, it does appear that all teammates are doing their part.
And you talk about a defensive side for Onyx G as well. 57% win rate over on those defensive rounds is quite close, right? It's nothing, I feel like over 60% is generally something that's really good anyways, but 57, it's getting close. And for the flip of that, for order, they're on the defensive side. They need more right now. They're doing a good job of containing over towards this B side at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Starting to flow on through from Onyx.
Yeah, straight away, they've lost the 2 defending members, and now that means that slow walk creep on the rotation B side has been absolutely everything here for Onyx G. There's a leak and they haven't been able to plug it. Ronsky looking the absolute wrong way. Elmi Moore going to be able to punish him, and I think that's going to be a save. Maple RDW taking it to the next round.
Kalau nggak gitu nggak dapat gun round berikutnya mereka.
Right? Because again, you know, it's just only been that B side. A has been squeaky clean for order, but Onyx G just have been able to break straight through.
That's the thing, right? Onyx G have now realized what the gaps and what the flaws are for order's defensive side right now.
Didn't take them long.
And they're abusing it.
Yeah, didn't take them long at all.
The only thing and the only question that I am kind of wondering now is you've got one more round on this attacker side, and then things switch over.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really concerning here for order. They are going to be able to save those rifles, which is an important thing here. A little bit shaky there for Maple. But overall, nicely done. You know, I've got to admit, Onyx G have very much impressed me here to be able to have that consideration and clean up shop. Basically, Maple does drop in the end. So it's going to be only RDW. What's the cash look like? There's going to be a couple of scrappy positions, you know, but what we haven't seen is maybe a little bit more forward thinking. It's almost like they've left elbow completely open these last couple of rounds. Order.
Yeah, the last couple of rounds, right? We saw Disco trying to push down there a little bit earlier.
He was getting all the control at the start.
Exactly, but the problem is with that control, not so much an overextension, but not able to capitalize on an opening frag.
They definitely have to get that back. It's going to be Ronsky down to only the Bladestorm and Disco picking up the Guardian. So it's a bit of a scrappy looking round here from Order to close out the half.
I'm kind of wondering because he's got $2,500 spare. And
boom!
But regardless, he's running down mid, so we'll see what he can do with this one right now. The tailwind is going to expire. And meanwhile, Order are removing themselves from the A side. There is the big old peek from the man to find the first pick. But as I mentioned, the A side, it was left. And now Onyx have it.
They've completely changed up their focus, which is totally fair. Now, Ronsky, if he can creep on in on this flank without being spotted, it might be awkward. Maple, he's fighting the wrong fight. Nice. Texter did have the flank position, but now it's gotten a little bit awkward. Ronsky should spot, does get it. Gets nice. Shiro can punish him, can take him down. Unfortunately, RDW has been dropped on the back of that null command, still yet to be res, still yet to be brought back to life.
Nice.
He's going to get punished by NC Slasher, and ultimately it's Onyx G with a decimation on the return.
Onyx looking good.
And they are looking awesome.
Tapi masih ada small mistake-nya,
small
yeah, you'd expect them to be pretty happy with a 7-5 score.
Kayak nggak dicek angle-nya itu tadi.
That second round to those classics of Order as well.
Angle-nya ini nggak dicek.
Order starting to feel pretty comfortable with how they're playing on the defensive side. But then, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, right, Onyx G are realizing exactly what they need to do to break down the defenses of Order. It was those B side attacks very rapidly that kind of steered the ship in toward the port that they wanted to land at.
Just trying to think, what do we need? It's got to be a bit of a change up here from Order because the consistency, and again, if Onyx G can take that pacing that they have held, into the next half, it's going to be really scary. It's going to be really dicey, right? You know, winning that pistol round will certainly change everything. You know,
itu juga harusnya dia lari ke sono, jangan naik ke atas. Soalnya kalau naik ke atas itu kalau musuh kalian udah siap, kepalanya kelihatan duluan cuy. Dan mereka bakalan kemungkinan headshotnya lebih tinggi.
Breeze is a map where you can take that early real estate, push yourself in, and kind of lock down, and then allow the rest of the maps to be sort of spaced out.
And I think that was one of the contributing factors that helped Order in their match against Fancy United yesterday, was the fact that they won 3 out of 4 pistol rounds, and they were able to have a good showcase after those pistol rounds.
Their early round aggression was good too.
Correct. So the fact that they dropped the pistol round first here, I think this is a null and void case because they get that second round, but this is going to be the time now that if they don't get this pistol round, you start to see the blooming of Onyx defensive side. You start to see it maybe get a little bit too far forward, then Order have to contemplate, all right, how do we really get back into this one? Because remember, this was their map pick, so they were feeling very comfortable to take Onyx G on Breeze.
Was the map that Fancy United banned out against them, right? They've done their research. This was the one that they came out absolutely swinging, 13-4 against Oasis in the last stage of VCT. So it's a very big statement for Onyx to look strong at this one, and I know they've fought off against like Xerxia and stuff in the past. You know, they've certainly got better practice when it comes to who they get to scrim, who they get to play officials against on the regular, but now Komodo, they are going to be looking to get straight out onto this A site. There is 3 members ready, but they have been spotted, located quickly, and that's going to be the spike drop by Monyet.
A big reveal from Shiro's recon dart as well, and he's still got a shocky that he can throw on through. That does lead on Ronski.
No, sayang banget.
Ronski says no to
Itu low banget.
I have a feeling that Onyx G are going to be able to lock down this A site. You want to know why? Because the rest of the boys on Order weren't there to help the guys at the pyramid. They're all disconnected at the moment, and it's only on to RDW in the 1 versus 4. The battle is won against Severine, but this is where you would expect him to lose his life, and he will indeed.
A little bit unlucky there, I suppose, but it's that hesitation once more. You know, you've got Ronski first on site. He gets a great swing, great shot, but then you see Severine make his way back through the doors, and he's 15-10 on this Viper right now. You know, to be able to do that with the Classic at that long distance, being able to just pot shot like really, not feeling any pressure, not feeling the contest. That's kind of what has, again, always plagued Order, right? When they're not moving as that unit, they're constantly watching each other's backs, their flanks, and that's something that doesn't quite commonly happen back in Oceania, right? Teams are too cautious. Teams are always pretty regular to just sort of sit back on those sites and not kind of hold W into your spawn, right? Throw that out the window in APAC. That always happens, and you've got to be ready for it, but I feel like Order are overthinking it.
Oh, look, potentially so. They've got the game plan that they're going in with, and now with the Classics, we'll see if they can do what they did in the first half. A little bit of an interest over towards the B site at the moment, but you've already got the shifts from Onyx G starting to come over here as well. Severine pitching himself up a 10 at the Archers. Meanwhile, you've also got NC Slasher that did just get the reveal on the guiding light for the information. That will have expired, usually for now.
Balik lagi ke B kah?
Much more chill. Just waiting to see if anything does get thrown out. Some info off the back of that guiding light, but it's going to be orb farming game again for RDW. Already very, very close to that null command. I
like the fact that Ronski's kind of on an island by himself as well, down mid, right? He's playing that lurker role, making sure that no one's coming through the doors for that rotation at the moment before the rest of his squad try an assault in towards the B site.
They've got the spot. Info off the back of that guiding light once more. It's going to be Disco. Can he find the shot? No, unfortunately not. NC Slasher a little bit too quick.
Disiplin loh.
Mereka
kagak rote, kagak apa, tetap nunggu aja anjir. Disiplin aja. Mainnya Onyx disiplin banget. Severine sih kayaknya.
Should be able to spot him. No, he's walked completely underneath.
He's tucked the bun, hasn't he? But the dart's going to get the reveal. He can't escape that one. And now the rest of Onyx G finding the members all across the site. A flawless round in the end.
Clean,
chip damage, yes.
Clean banget.
Fantastic stuff from Shiro. You know, to be able to utilize
mereka nggak move sama sekali. Selama informasi itu nggak ada, nggak move. Kemudian utility-nya spot on buat ngecekin, kayak contohnya pakai itu tadi apa, NC Slasher pakai ininya dia, Sky-nya ngecekin terus kan ada musuh, kan di sini dikasih ini bird. Plusnya Sky ngasih info.
As well, right? It comes down to that research factor for Onyx G. What do they think that Order are going to be throwing at them in a round such as this? You can look towards your scoreboard and you can see that RDW is one away from the null command. It could be a very viable viable ultimate to gain entry in toward one of these sites, make it a little bit easier. We've seen a lot of reconnaissance from Shiro yield reward, but for right now, they're changing it up as well. It's Onyx G getting aggressive on this defensive side, and look how much space they've already found down through these caves.
Elmi Mo dapat satu.
Ronski's done.
Nice banget pakai headhunter.
Dusted again. Ronski lurk punished early, and that's what these teams have been doing so well. You know, keeping him out of the server, keeping him kind of on a leash as best as possible, and not allowing him that free reign that we did get to see on Oasis with those aggressive B-side takes. Elmi Mo does actually manage to tag up onto Maple a little bit. Now RDW, great flash, but the rendezvous gets him out of there.
Oh, rendezvousnya ke depan ya.
A bit more space here, and Texter, fantastic spot, but NC Slasher very wise to rotate back out.
Texter needs to make sure he's not too narrow focused on this little lurk play right now. He needs to be able to assist his team, or maybe not if IDW can find the frag onto Monyet. 2 HP, he is frolicking all around with the rest of his squad coming in through the elbow for a bit of a lurk, and just look at this, Monyet is toying with him. That's exactly right. Keep him here for the players to come through from the flank at the moment, and now that's exactly where everything's going to start to happen. Texter has joined the party here, and so has Shiro.
Nice.
Severine, this is where things look a little bit more dangerous for Order, as the hunt is certainly on from Shiro. A pre-fire denied, and it's all on to Severine, but taken down.
Udah bagus cuy posisinya.
Positioning right now, you know, we see Monyet just doing something so simple as keeping his focus, because the way that they were rotating in through mid, they were trying to get through Link and ultimately then wrap around and isolate RDW into that position. Unfortunately, couldn't quite happen. RD knew that he had the fragment, sent it over, got the frag, and then now was able to refocus his set back. But to have it go down to just 2 members against that bonus is a little rough, I got to admit.
Yeah, and in the end, as well, as far as you're happy with damage, you know, for Onyx G,
timing.
4 frags,
Pas si
in the end in that one,
Ardi masuk tuh, Severin nggak ngeliat dia ada di pojokannya, di pojokan sini. Severin, Ardi lewat ini jalan.
Help me out here, I'm actually forgetting the word of this gun. Regardless, the Spectre, that's the one. RDW is going to be able to find the first one onto NC Slasher, and again, Monyet is trying to hide in amongst one of his own cloud bursts, but this pressure, again, building Order, changing pace, going a little bit faster through mid. They do seek themselves this advantage.
Doesn't always need that Spectre, pulls out the Headhunter, gets one before he's traded, and it's now that advantage, as you mentioned. Onyx G, waiting patiently, walking in
Zero tahu kagak tuh.
Now Texter.
Zero
keeping his spot, having a watch all the way.
Nice, Zero.
At the wrong time, and now he's punished. This should
dia balik ke bridge. Nice.
Maple exactly where they're going. Maple does have the spike. He's very, very forward, and surely he's got to go for the call. He's got to get the information shortly, because look at Shiro repositioning into the spot. Elmi Mo also going to be popping down those rendezvous as spike.
Nice, Severin.
Ronski though. Now a 2v3, still very,
satu
very
udah dapat
awkward here.
info.
RDW does get
Satu pasti di belakang nih.
recon bolt, but already he's been spotted.
Nice,
there's the shock
dart.
A 3k, a monstrous round again from the Sova here. It's the Impact Man, and now people more damage again from Shiro. Now they're going to be looking. Now they're going to be 3-on-1. Again, win a 3v1, lose a bunch of 1v3s, and there we go. Onyx G,
Severin
digits here.
Anjir, Onyx happy banget
on their pocket pick a breeze.
A very big
kadang kalahnya cuma karena timing aja.
There as well, with the fact that they had 3 angles of
karena timing momentum,
one through
timing
toward the
momentum.
caves, one through the doors, and one over towards the bridge as well.
Di game FPS tuh
angles
timing
that any
itu
one of the members on
bikin
Onyx
momentum.
could have found the opening frag. It just so happens to be Severine over toward the caves, and that just steers so much focus away from the actual site where the rest of his teammates can then come from. And he had already repositioned over toward the mid doors to get up with his buddy as well.
Yeah,
so
I just absolutely love that round from Shiro. You know, to be able to push straight into the hole is just insane kind of awareness. You know, you kind of know there's clearly comms that the team has been moving around the map accordingly. You have to adjust, moves in, spots back, gets the flank, and then to be able to reposition and do all that damage with the Sova utility as well is massive. But Elmi Mo keeping a spot onto Tex.
Nggak kena anjir.
A little bit of damage,
Udah
but
nge-chip damage lumayan juga.
They are arching in, they are moving accordingly, but there's 3 members here, Komodo, of Onyx G trying to lock this one down, and they're still splitting accordingly. Ronski has started to fall back, and look, RDW is still waiting, so maybe it might not end on B.
Onyx G are really happy to play 3 players at B. They're really happy to play off of the A site and go in for a retake. They've showcased they can do that, and this is exactly why.
Anjir, susah banget cuy. Dua apa ini namanya?
To lock it down.
Dua angle.
Finds two.
Mereka.
Remember, it is just the sheriffs and that marshal to come in for order in this
Severin
round.
udah
But
tahu
that
tuh
means that
posisinya,
Onyx can find
ditungguin
their
sama dia
11th
di
if
situ
they're
tuh.
able to close this one.
Merasa dia.
With 50 seconds to go,
Texter.
it is Texter trying
Nice.
to team, but he's caught off guard yet again.
Udah ketahuan.
Vronsky and RDW, I feel like the time is nigh. RDW's in their spawn, but you've already got Shiro looking for that one. He's
Disiplin
found
banget,
his
kagak
number,
gerak.
145 in one.
Ardiu.
RDW will finish it off.
Nah,
Now
sudah
he's
tinggal
lone
satu
soldier.
doang.
He would need an ace here, Conky. He's 2/5 of the way.
Oh, saving.
Seconds left.
Where's he going to go with it?
Saving,
Looks like he might
saving,
actually
saving.
try and save out this Vandal potentially, or just wrap through those double doors, reposition accordingly. But once again, just
Tapi
the
tetap aja
analysis that I
lihat
can
tuh,
make is the way that
dijagain
Order,
DB-nya tuh gimana
they
tuh.
kind of just feel like they're one step behind. Onyx G have always kind of had the over positioning. They're able to adapt to the space really, really well.
Nggak mungkin dari
And Breeze
City
is a map
dong.
where you can kind
Mereka
of cut
mikirnya.
past each other, right? Knifing through
Ini
mid,
ketahuan nih.
getting into nest, clearing around
El
that
Mimo,
way accordingly. RDW
apa,
needs to
jiggle
go down. He
picking
needs to go
ketahuan
down quick.
udah.
He might actually go down after time here, Komodo.
Nah,
I
ini.
think he will.
Ketahuan udah.
Was that just? I can't tell. We'll have to see when the catch pops up. But
Anjir.
yeah, again, it's just
Mainnya
really,
lebih
really odd for
disiplin.
Order. You got three
Monyet
members
juga.
ready to burst through the lane and get straight in to that B side. But
Sang
the other two
ketua
are just
ya.
kind of so far away and waiting for that flank.
Yeah.
But the flank's not coming.
And you got a lot of ultimates
Mantan
now
pro player
for Onyx G as well
beda
that can
memang
pitch them
rasanya
into the 12th round.
Udah-
So it makes
udah
it more
pengalamannya.
of a dangerous territory now than ever for Order to get back into this game, right? We haven't really seen too much from them after their stint of 4 rounds in the very beginning. It almost feels like the other two, yeah, for sure. But for Onyx G, they've really found their
Wah, ini
footing
mau
in
nge-push
this
nih.
map of Breeze.
Flash
And it looks
push
like
nih.
aggression
Lihat
over
nih.
towards the A side of things again for Order. A little bit of a contest from the Onyx G members. And Monyet is just going to feel
Flash.
confident right now, straight into
Ah,
Order. He's already
tidak.
pushed the Order members back, but Vronsky, he wants a bit of a biff right now. The shots are starting to come on through, and the cloudburst from Monyet is going to get him. There's now 3 members over towards this A side, and he has to fall back.
Coming out of Blades very, very quickly. Tunnel vision into
Oh,
position.
kena anjir,
Maple,
NC
though, makes
Slasher.
quick work of
NC
NC
Slasher kena
Slasher.
cuy.
Vronsky just has that one blade
Oh.
in the chamber to try and find a shot. They are rotating
Tapi di B
away,
ada
and
ini,
potentially
mereka
hopefully
harus
he
dari
can
mid
find
tuh.
something there
Tapi di mid
accordingly.
juga
But
ada
Viper's Pit already
trademark
down on towards
buat
that
ngasih
side,
informasi.
put in by
Kemudian kalau
Severin.
masuk itu ada
It's gonna
Viper
be
Speed.
really, really challenging to make their way
Susah
through
sih
accordingly.
buat
Maybe
ini.
they'll spot that information and move accordingly.
Mereka
But because
kemungkinan
of that
bakal
pick,
masuk di E,
because of
makanya
that
2 orang
positioning,
ini di
they've
sini
got that
1, 2,
full
3.
lean over towards A, and it just makes it
Dikira
so
mereka bakal
challenging
ke
for
sini.
Order.
And that
Nah,
Aldrin
ini
just
udah
spotted
ketahuan,
what
udah
is
hilang.
happening over in towards
Harusnya
mid.
udah tahu,
Given by the
tuh,
fact
tuh.
that the trademark
Tuh
has
jalan.
just been destroyed. Order, they have to get into this B site and contest this pit very quickly, because if they allow Severin to stay alive, he can get them from behind, and the rest of the Onyx members can go over towards the
Nice.
Or now
El Mimo
into
dapat
mid
satu.
by the fact that Texter has
Look at
lost
this.
his
No, timing.
control that Onyx are finding right now. They are essentially pulling the pants down on
Beautiful
Order.
timing.
They literally have nothing.
Mereka udah tahu
Onyx
sih.
G have been
Ah, ini udah
not
tahu
only
nih.
1 step, 2 steps, potentially even 3 steps ahead of all these rounds, like constantly catching Order from the back, from the behind. Like, Order are overthinking themselves. They're trying to get themselves into quote-unquote flank positions. Maybe we'll be able to get through somewhere, and then, simply as that round
Cek
from
nih,
Severin
harusnya dicek nih,
absolutely
harusly.
perfectly sodding through his Viper's Pit.
Nice.
Info. There's Monyet
Nice,
to drop
dicek.
Vronsky. Now it's all onto
Nice,
RDW. He's going to have
didijek,
to pull off the unbelievable here. We're 1v4, and they are starting to look. There is a tap onto the defuse. They look the
Udah
other
ketahuan
way.
dah,
It's gonna be
posisinya udah ketahuan.
RDW doing some damage.
Nice.
Elmi Moore can find him, and that's going to be map point here for Onyx G. They have
Onyx anjir mainnya rapi.
Yeah, just essentially all the
Bangsat.
individual jewels that
Dan
Onyx
mereka
are finding themselves in
rajin
there,
cuy
the Order members weren't even
ngecekin
really looking at
angle-nya.
them,
Yeah,
right?
other way.
Yep, so it really assists the way they're able to find that, and that's the ultimate territory I was talking about as well, right? The fact that that Viper's Pit does get used over toward the B side means that it is so much more difficult for a team like Order to be able to clear it. They don't have too much utility to be able to use over at B, because when that pit goes down, they're
Nice.
already structured over toward the A side
Clean,
for their
mainnya.
initial
Clean,
engagements anyway, but things just go a little bit more awkward. They lose the opening picks, they lose the information. Onyx G are starting to really build this repertoire of info around the map, and then it's just really easy to close it from there. So for 6 rounds in a row, that is the task for Order right now, to get us in towards overtime. And it looks like a quick one to beat.
Yeah, it's going to be. So this could be a very, very fast end or a continued game here. Monyet pushing through,
Oh,
but
no,
punished.
dapat.
It's going to be
Oh,
Vronsky
nice.
get that opener, but a great
NC
response here
Slasher.
from NC Slasher. Look at him
Nice.
going everywhere, running around, ring around.
Nice.
From NC Slasher. Severin and Shiro, though, pick it up. Triple S.
Nice,
And that's
tinggal
what the
disco.
game
Udah
is
nggak ada
looking like
harapan.
right now. A triple
Nggak ada
S
harapan.
performance from Onyx G.
Kecuali
And it's
ini
Disco,
dia
the man
dapat
who I was
satu
saying
gitu,
his
masih ada
name so
harapan.
many times early
Ini
in
dapat
this
satu
series,
gitu.
a 3K to clinch the classic round. But unfortunately, the tour de
Timing,
force, unfortunately,
timing.
I don't know if it's going to be enough. Maybe a cyclist in a former life, but this time he might be crashing and burning into the round as they lock down everything here. Onyx G.
All it's going to take is one member of Onyx to find his position, and you've got so many different angles that you can go together as a team for these double swings. And now Disco is getting into the line of sight of Shiro. Finds it, but actually, Submarine peeks out there as well to find it. So it is Onyx G stealing their map pick, their opponent's map pick rather, of orders their 13 to 6 breeze. Onyx G going into their map next. Order have some work to do.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The only thing that I can kind of say, it felt very, very lackluster in that sense, right? The series felt a little bit flat towards the end there, and it's Onyx G just being so far ahead. They looked like so much better. It was a much higher sort of ranked position or anything like that. That's where it felt. You know, Order were not really up to the task for a lot of that. They had some fantastic positions, but that's exactly where we sort of need to get, you know, Coach Dick Stacey to look in and be like, boys, what are you so concerned about? You know, trying to make these outplays or repositions, and Onyx G were just able to do it. They read them to absolute perfection, and that's why we do see Onyx G winning out this opening map. And around the corner, they do have another, but we'll be back shortly after this break.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to VCT APAC LCQ. And Map 1 goes the way of Onyx G.
Nice,
You know,
nice,
it might have started with some bright and sunny, shiny shots of the different cities. We saw Jakarta look good. I think it was Melbourne that they showed earlier. Not so sunny after round 6 here for Order, as they fall short here in map number 1, guys.
Started beautifully, didn't it, Pavlos? It was all sunshine, rainbows, all the Aussie fans realizing, hey, we might actually do quite well here.
You heard it in the cast, too.
Yeah.
I loved it. Second victory.
Exactly. Koki and Dion just on their feet, over the moon, and then sort of round 6 happened, and it kind of descended into flatulence, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was an unfortunate turn of events for Onyx, to say the least, but I think it was both of both worlds. Like, it kind of felt like, yes, on the one hand, Order didn't play the way that we would expect it to, but Onyx at the same time overwhelmed them.
Yes, definitely. And when we take a look at standout performers, one name rises above the rest here for Onyx G.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, what was quite interesting was Severin actually just really stepping up on the Viper. You're expecting it to be Money T. It just wasn't. Oh, Munya, sorry. I realised I'm very bad at names. but Munya really.
Munya is looking like money, right?
Yeah, exactly. Apparently so. Boasting at 1.7 KDA, he really played well. And I think once he started opening up, once he started matching Ardu, Severin was able to sort of just capitalise. Just the entire team of Onyx stepped up as one, which is really cool.
So, looking at the scoreboard and everything, I see RDW on that KO. It's one of the recent switches that Order have kind of done. They used to play him on the chamber, now it's kind of been switched around by Disco. Yeah, RDW had a wise performance, but he used to play on the chamber, and you kind of relied on him to do the heavy lifting there.
Right.
And this time around, Disco on that defense fell flat, really. And this composition really relies on him as well, right? Because you expect them to get those early kills. You expect them to kind of at least, even if the site is taken, they at least will have a numbers advantage on that retake, and that's kind of their winning case scenario, and they never had it.
No, they did not. For a second there, though, again, one of the storylines that we were setting up for the day was Wrongski. Will we see a sighting of Wrongski in the first half, in those first couple of rounds? He was the one leading the way for the squad, but then, as you saw there, ends up lower on the scoreboard and not as impactful. So, yes, the strategy is to allow the chamber to come clean up, but Wrongski on the jet needs to have more impact. Where is the causation and the correlation here?
My worry is that Onyx G, they are a fast-paced team, you know, kind of young guns, really aggressive play style, and what that means is momentum ends up having a serious toll on both teams. For Wronski, he was a player who relies on momentum anyway. That's now been completely thwarted, and with such a fast... That map was done in like 20 minutes.
Very fast.
That was an absolute decimation on Onyx, on Onyx's behalf, and so I can't help but think that for Order, unless they're starting to use their timeouts a lot more frequently, trying to set themselves up on our next map is going to be really difficult.
All right, perfect segue here. Great job, Kremer. Let's take a look at our map picks here. Bind and Split were taken out. We just saw an easy breezy victory here by Onyx on Breeze, which was Order's pick. Yeah, Order's pick. And now we go to Onyx side on Ascent. This is
it's looking even scarier.
Yeah.
And I love the point Kremer made about sort of aggression forcing their opponents' hand Order whenever really feeling comfortable. And I think this is a map in particular that they will never feel comfortable against Onyx due to the fact that they are just so fast paced. If you look at the first 20 seconds of every single round, you can see, if you had to see a heat map, you'd see a vast plethora of players instantly in the site. Like, it's a very rare phenomenon. They'll actually play it slow and kind of taking it back. But for Order to kind of come and face up against this, it seems like they're going to have to come up with brand new plays, and to come out with something up against a team that is so forcing, it's ever so difficult.
Right. Again, easier to be the one asking a ton of questions than the one trying to solve each problem. And if you never get the momentum back to be the one asking the questions by being the proactive squad, you're always going to be on the back foot, and to come up with something on the fly going to be very difficult.
It definitely is going to be very difficult, and that's exactly why I think Order at this point are in a very in a deep kerfuffle, if you will. But I think there is still room and some hope for them that they're able to bounce back. Yes, it's off of the back of a very difficult victory, but I think they've got a bit of a time to kind of reset, focus, and put their effort in trying to have a very strong attacking side, because if they start strong with their own tempo and show their opponents that they're not ones to be messed with, then there is a slight chance that they have a better hand.
RDW, MVP of the last game on the Order side. We've already highlighted Wrongski. Kremer, who else needs to step up from this Order side?
Honestly, I really want to see Maple kind of have a bit more presence on the Sova. He was sort of the one who was set up everyone when Order are on form. Right now, a lot of his setups just aren't working.
I'd say Disco. Disco, 100%, right? Especially on that influential chamber role. You need him to step up. Without him, it kind of feels like Order are flat.
I agree with that one. Disco, he had a lot of standout moments in their previous series. Will he be able to do it again? Let's find out. So send it on over to the casters. Mitchell Dion.
Listen, guys, I'm huffing the copium right now. That's all I really sort of need to go for at this point in time, because unfortunately, yeah, Order have been a little bit lacking at this point in time, right? And they really need to fire up on all cylinders. Stop questioning themselves. Lean into that confidence, because that's the second where the wheels fall off. Usually they crash and burn.
I kind of wonder as well going into this next map here if we're going to see a rechange of roles, right? Because we did just see in that Disco's roles. Usually they play the other side, right? You'd have RDW running chamber and Disco running over on toward that KO, but they switched it for this one. So I wonder, coming in towards Ascent, you know, are we going to see something new again? Are we, even before that, are we going to see a agent lineup that we've actually seen before from these boys? Because they like to run new ones, kind of what feels very often.
Yeah. They sort of have always been doing that. Like even if you run all the way back to when, you know, Tux and Texter were playing the Duelist, right? We used to see Texter on the Phoenix, Tux on the Jet. And then obviously they've undergone so much change. We saw obviously, you know, Autumn come in for that little piece of time, and, you know, there's definitely been changes around. So Ronsky back onto the Jet here, Maple onto the Fade, which we know is strong, and Disco going to that Raise. So they are sort of trying to stick in as much as possible as they can here. Onyx G, again though, this is their confidence sort of pick, right? You know, Ascent, obviously there was a win for Order yesterday, trying to take that A and B main control, but overall I think if Onyx were watching that map yesterday, right, they already know all the tricks and tricks of the trade for Order.
Well, that's the one, but I'm kind of feeling toward it. Did Maple lock in the Fade? Yes, did indeed. So this is looking, you know, kind of very similar over towards Order's side of things, but a little bit of change here by the time Ronski's actually gone back to Jet here.
So what are we seeing? NC Slash up. Classic on that Astra, and of course, you know, making sure we do see those KOs come back to regularity much more. And you know, Elmi Moore had a really big run on that chamber in the previous map. Will we see it again? But all of it is going to really sort of run down to that pistol round and seeing what strengths can come through. Ronsky in a very aggressive position. Will have the tailwind yet to be popped, and then will go down. They've already actually looked for the fight to try and get in here. Paranoia is great, and that will give him a little bit more space, but this is so much utility being used by Order already, and it's going to be
Elmi Moore dapat satu.
Yep, first death in the round in the map of Ascent right now, and everything is starting to lean over towards the A site for Onyx G. RDW is going to have a bit of a peek and looking for the second. It's going to be denied. Now it is only down to Texter able to not dodge out the blade, but he will be able to find a frag in the paint toward him as well.
Texter sih anjir juga ya. Shotnya,
it's all coming towards him. I was going to say the Prowler
shotnya dia tai juga, tai.
Went behind him, and now the rest of his team are here to assist.
Nggak bisa. Severin nungguin kan itu tadi, nggak bisa.
Is now coming to an end, and it will come to an end.
Texter sih asem, on point banget ini ya. Crosshairnya. Jadi dia tuh mainnya ya. Crosshairnya nggak gerak, tapi orangnya yang gerak. Apa karakternya yang gerak? Kalian lihat deh, crosshairnya tetap di situ dia. Jadi yang menyesuaikan itu ininya, apa karakternya yang menyesuaikan attackingnya, bukan mouse-nya. Jadi bagus banget, apa selevel kepala terus dia.
They're the team with the momentum right now. They're the team that are looking the hottest of what we've seen in the series already. Are they going to be able to strike back here into this second? They picked up some sheriffs, so their money actually might not be the best into this third.
I was going to say, I always love that play, the C's combo with the paint shells, but
dapat gun,
upgrade, and he's even rewarded with finding the first opener on towards Maple, which means you have to have a lead if you are Order right now. They're covering as many bases as they can across the map, but this is still that half-fighter coming from Onyx G.
Nice.
Another pick right now. This round could be stolen away by Onyx G.
Yeah, the distance with those sheriffs, like putting it up really nicely. You know, Severin's
now got the Spectre,
and Monyet's going to be walking straight up short, so not really a whole lot of space being taken by Order. They have to go their backs up against the wall. It's only really Ronsky with that lean on the Marshall from the market now, spotting back towards Pizza. So he's just going to sit and lay pretty until he does get the call for the rotation, actually back towards A. So maybe Texter's got a little bit of a read here, potentially heard Monyet, who's up short.
And Elmi Moore left to gallivant around the B main area as well. Texter's very firm on this line. A pixel peek when he sees something, but if he gets flashed on through, it could get a little bit awkward. And Monyet's already there. The Paranoia out will force him away. Remember, he does have RDW here to assist him, but he's trying to take the challenge, trying to take the fight by himself. And Onyx G,
nice.
Now they've found that
mereka langsung ke mid, belok ke kiri.
Nice. Towards this side. They're going to get a plan. and they've got a number advantage for the post.
All I'm not gonna say is like Elmi Moore is
dia mau ngambil senjata itu tadi.
Sharp, like to be able to get those fine lines, utilizing the ADS of the Headhunter. He's found 2 picks basically for free. That was a position where there was almost no time left completely.
Nice.
Wow. That's a third. Like, are you joking? These are
nice.
But Shiro takes it off of his hands. Did get the dink. RDW with the trade down. Texter has made his way into the site, but he's completely wrapped in.
Ke bait nih pasti.
Now it's so
awkward. Bait musuh. Lihat tuh temannya.
And they're just walking straight down. NC Slasher a little bit shaky, but it's Severin.
Di B sama Severin. Biar mereka dia ngerasa, waduh aku nggak ada waktu nih. Mereka pasti bakalan rotasi nih dari belakang diriku gitu. Makanya dia push langsung di push tapi nggak ada apa.
Breeze this time going into the way of Onyx G and Elmi Moore. I mean, it's exactly as you say, right? Very, very quick to find those frags with the Headhunter and even the Sheriff in close proximity. Order, they have a little bit to have now to make sure that they are covering a lot of bases, to make sure that they're not losing these opening duels.
3 1v1s is basically where Elmi Moore managed to make that start, right? The peek into B main, and then obviously getting the lurk and the rotation from Disco, who was trying to jump back over towards that A side. The round wasn't done, and they were already trying to make too many decisions, so they've completely changed it up here right now, straight in towards tiles, and now there has been some damage done. Monyet, Severin, NC Slasher all opening up, and maybe Monyet to find something else.
Nice. Hampir aja itu. Aku dia ambil senjata gitu. Untung langsung di-pick lagi.
They took it.
Yeah, lesser weaponry as well for Order, and the fact that the paint shells kind of hurt old mate that just ran in toward the tiles too. So
Onyx looking good.
Look, it is what it is. It's a play to come out from Order. It didn't go away. They've got the guns now in towards this new round. They could possibly want, but I am seeing territory of Ultimate starting to just be around the corner.
Gini bisa gini menang itu nggak adu aib.
Onyx G one away from the Tour de Force and the Null Command each. Which if Elmi Moore is hitting all these shots that we have been seeing him hit, he could do it even quicker with the Tour de Force. So I really do wonder how far forward Onyx G are going to be able to go on this attacker side. Now in this new round, they've already got complete control of B main.
Running that setup, very, very similar towards the A site, will be Order. The double up of RDW and Texter here. The Haunt will go over the top to spot some info, but again, Elmi Moore, he actually should be fine here. That's very, very big here.
That's cheeky.
That might sort of prompt them to actually move into position accordingly. Look at the rotation already starting to head out. RDW does shoulder his way in. Now the fragment goes down, but he's been seized, he's been held, and that's going to make it really, really awkward as this decay does continue to go down. The Dark Carver will at least allow him some solace for now, but they're already starting to pull away. Great position from
nice. Elmi Moore dapat satu.
This guy is an absolute demon to this team. They just cannot get him. It's like swatting away a fly that just won't give up at this point in time. And now he's crept straight through on towards the site. Already all of this control, and he might even find another. He's happy to drop into these nebulas here, Komodo. And he even might just find this.
Timing.
Maybe too far for Elmi Moore because they haven't got the spike through the site yet.
Severin's trying to sell somewhat of a fake over towards A, ripping the Null Command by himself. But look at this. Texter's already behind him right now. He just needs to inch on. There's some discipline, but he's found the frag, and with 20 seconds, he'll hear the footsteps of the rest of the Onyx G squadron coming over towards the tree room and trying to push on through. They have to contend with Texter. How much of a duel does he actually want to fight by himself here is the real question. 3 hostiles detected on that blade. Texter falls, but the denial of the spike. RDW, beautiful transfer. There it is. As a unit, they go together. They push.
Dia udah tahu loh posisinya di mana. Dia ngelihat ngekill, dia tahu posisi yang terakhir, langsung banting mouse aja.
Unfortunately, they could not quite find it. But again, Komodo, it's Texter to make those 1% plays. The position that he was able to take, he's just so far ahead of the game.
Itu tadi salah banget, sumpah.
Certainly does get electric inside the server and out the side. The server doesn't, and around that Order were desperately wanting. And one of those things that I was kind of talking about as well, right, was the Null Command that was ripped by Severin there. There wasn't any other assistive utility that was really thrown in. So Order already hearing some footsteps around the B main location. They kind of already knew where Onyx G was sort of leaning towards in that round, but you still take just that information away, right? The round still has to be finished by those kills, and that's exactly what RDW and Ronsky were able to do in the end.
Well, again, it continues to be that massive problem where it's Elmi Moore who has just been able to completely rip apart so much that Order have been throwing. It's just the one thing, and they play all around of his control, right? You know, he's got the rendezvous that he can pop out if he needs. He gets his trademark placed down on that flank, and he can just keep his eyes set on B main. And the second they know they're seeing Order pull away with that information, the second Maple threw that Haunt down, that could have been the call to immediately come out from Elmi Moore, right? He can just say, boys, relax, I've got this. And then that's where they start to do it. So Tex, that was him that made that 1% play, took the further info. So he walked up short potentially there to be able to wrap around, find the flank, and then basically save RDW's life for long enough to get them back into the round. So 2-2, still plenty more Valorant ahead of us right now. And yeah, look, Onyx G have got a decent enough buy to sort of fight the fight back.
First couple of seconds in the round, both teams exercising the use of their 0 point. The Haunt as well to come out from Maple. So have to wait a bit for them to come on back, but already Onyx G pushing down to the depths of mid. Ronsky and Pizza is something that's going to be very interesting, as he does have his teammate in Disco next to him over in the marker, but a very slower paced round start for Onyx G. And Ronsky feels like he wants to be able to take a duel with the rest of his utility. The Paranoia, he spotted out exactly where Monyet is playing from as well. Maybe not. Shiro and Severin starting to get some action back, however. And now it's all the vulnerability for RDW. Stuck in the seas. Destruction of the Haunt. Now he finds one.
RDW sih bajigur juga dia.
In this round, but NC Slasher will cut him to size. And look at this spot from Severin.
Severin.
Take back the lead.
Too damn hungry, Ronsky. Peeking out, getting one. Wants that second, wants that highlight moment, and he gets punished. Severin says no, smacks him once on the cheek, and then the back on the other. And
anjir, Severin. Pembacaan mapnya anjir.
Like, Onyx G feel like an immovable
ditunggu
object.
loh.
They know exactly what
nggak di-expect sama sekali tuh angle sama dan dua orang lagi collateral headshot.
For him to kind of like play out a script in their head, right? They know exactly how Order are doing it, and every single time they've just been prepared for it. So another massive round from Severin, who has just been impact round after impact round, whilst Monyet's still been quiet, right?
Yeah.
They haven't had to rely on him at all yet.
And just while we've got these pistol rounds coming through from Order, it was one of the big tells against the game of Fancy United yesterday too, where if there's 40, 30, 20 seconds left, Order want to do something. They want to push, they want to get some information. That's kind of what happened in the previous round for Ronsky, right? He wanted some information, wanted to go for a bit of a duel early on, and was taken out. So real unfortunate now with these pistols.
Oh no, Disco!
How has he killed himself with his paint shots?
I don't know, but he's dropped a spike at least. It's going to be a quick turnaround though, but that's basically
Disco kenapa itu tadi aja?
Bloody picture about what's going on in Camp Order right now. It's scrappy, it's ugly, and it's certainly not going the way it should really be for these guys. Like, you can tell they're not all on the same page, and this is exactly what we need. They're a team that can feel quite manic when they're all firing, they're all well drilled, and it is something that definitely has, you know, plagued Oceanica Valorant for quite some time.
Kena siege, dia nggak bisa pergi, jadi kena pensialnya sendiri.
Really feeling the pressure, right? So when the pressure does come, when they end up versing some of these top tier teams, you know, Onyx got second seed near the LCQ. It's certainly a fierce beast to be fighting in the second round of the competition, even after taking out maybe a little bit of a weaker looking Fancy United yesterday.
Well,
still plenty of Valorant though to go. Gotta just double down on that, right?
Order coming in with the guns in this round yet again. Odin's for both sides. Maple holding one over at the B site. Nelmy Moore dancing around with his own as well, looking for the reversal wallbang through B main. But again, Onyx very happy to play passive in the early stages here, get a little bit of this mid control. They can peel back over towards A if they do want to. They know from all the history that it's Texter and RDW looking to be the ones to lock down the lines, which means they'll be aware of the fact that the flashes will be there. So setting themselves up will be really, really cool for it. A bit of a wine clear. Make sure that Texter isn't down there. And in a couple of seconds, we're expecting Onyx G to just completely walk in towards, run in towards the A site.
Yeah, same sort of story as well, though this time they've been spotted. Looking to get that A main control, but they've happily fallen away. Shiro looks like he's ready to get the Prowler to be sent out up towards short, gets the info. RDW hell, but he does manage to pop the null command.
Dia langsung balik nih. Commit nih harusnya.
Doesn't have the null command available.
30 seconds.
Popped.
Kagak loh
towards the A side here are Onyx G, and they've spotted out exactly where Texter is playing. Still somehow manages to find the one, and RDW is falling back. Are they sold yet on the fact that it is A? Now they know. RDW lining them up again. Another multi-frag for the man. But this sialan banget has to go down, and Monyet, he is wanting to go for a fight early, potentially goes for a little bit of a spotter, but has to get that plant down, and he has to rely on Elmi Moore to essentially maybe bail him out a little bit earlier. The Haunt to be destroyed. All the Order members coming in from the heavens, but will they be taken down? to hell, 6 feet under. Monyet for the 3, brings out the blades, but Disco gets him.
Udah bagus cuy itu tadi. Udah bagus sumpah semua.
To hurt everyone at home, I was almost kind of hoping that Monyet had a pop-off moment just there, only purely on the fact that they didn't clear him, right? They left him in that corner for so long, but we do see Order move as a unit. All 4 members barreling out heaven. It would have been so hard for Monyet to trade all of those members right there, but again, it's RDW doing the heavy lifting, being the strong man in the KO that they do desperately need. He has been, well, I guess, like the iconic player through both of these series. So whilst again, they're not getting eliminated here, they've still got more chance to actually push through this series, but they need to awaken more. It can't just be RDW, and Maple has just been...
Well, that's it, right? RDW yesterday, the man at the top, the almost leader in charge, but you've also got Texter just behind him, bringing out the brains, making sure the team can do what they can. Still a similar story right now, and as you say, a big old B hit to come through for Onyx G, but Ronski is actually going to be dropping Severine. A resurrection could come out onto him through the null command of the KO, but Monyet's space, he's gotten behind Texter. He's not going to be able to cut Disco down for size, but all of these trades, Disco's managing to hold down the fort, and with that, Onyx G are falling away.
Yeah, Disco's done fantastically here. It's going to be at least something for them to hold on to now. 3 versus 3, but look at this position from NC Slasher. They have to be so careful. They're walking, they're creeping, but are they going to clear?
Ardiu sialan.
Like he's a little bit lucky there.
Ardiu selalu anjir yang jadi anchor timnya mereka tuh. Ardiu ke kill itu nggak bisa ngapa-ngapain mereka. Nice.
Just all on his lonesome basically here, and now the underarm flash does come out from RDW. They're both lined up. He spots one. He has to spot the other. Another flash drive to go out, but they clear, and Severine.
Let's go Severine.
The head of RDW. That is
nice popping flash anjir. Musuhnya ini kan anti flash kan dia. Istilahnya ada belakang dulu. Timing langsung.
He peaks a little bit earlier than the rest of his team can. RDW wasn't into the tree just yet to try and assist from another angle, so really unfortunate in that merit, but you've got to give props to Onyx G. The 2 versus 3 are able to pop up with a very rapid plan before the spike even goes down to eliminate Order coming from those heavens, and you mentioned it again, right? Maple, the Des mentioned it too, having a real underperformance. It's even more so here.
It just can't be happening, right? You know, Maple 0-7, and we're seeing, look, can't overly criticize Disco. He had some attempts, but you know that solo kill that he had on himself with the tank shells, and also Ronski 3-7. You know, just not putting up that impact that we desperately need to see. This is a round again, kind of throw it out to the side. It's just the sheriffs, it's just the pistols, but yeah, they just seem to be shaken and unfortunately not stirred in this round. Monyet should have plenty. They've not even cleared him. He gets it done.
Aku sampai stunning anjir.
Ronski will be found by Shiro.
Nggak sadar loh si Texta, nggak sadar loh, ditabrak loh itu badannya. Harusnya dia sadar loh kok berhenti di sini ya.
Cannot get the engine revving. They've been pulling that streak for quite some time and it's just not working.
Yeah, and they're running out of fuel as well for this one. They need to get a little bit of a refill over at that station, and for right now the station is many moons away. Not even miles. We're on another planet right now, it almost feels like. So something's got to get started for Order to get back into this one, because again, very reminiscent of what was happening on Breeze, right? There was a bit of a start for Order to come on through, but as soon as Onyx G realized what Order was running with, they just completely were able to account for almost every single situation.
Yeah, again, a super important round here. There has been a fair bit of decay, chip damage onto Monyet here off the back of that utility from Maple. Tagged up.
Oh
Ronski,
no.
this time on the line, and he's
Kagak dicek anjir.
One and done, he says. Does have a bit further of a spot, and as a response, you know, Elmi Moore, this is the level of confidence they've got now. Good response from Ronski, but a little bit lucky, straight through that nebula. He's able to equalize and bring it back to an advantage going the way of Order.
It's a rare chance that we've seen, a glimpse at Order having an advantage, and it's not going to go the other way just yet. Ronski with 3, setting himself up for the trophy in this round, but will he be too hungry for the ace? Disco is going to be the one who's going to be the next challenge over in the tree. He's wanting to be fallen on back. Maple, is he going to be able to find his first frag in this game? He's got a one-on-one against Shiro. The Nightfall is out. Ronski's got the 4K, and Maple for the swing, finally on the board, and it's a big one to come
harus
back
diinvest sama mereka invest ini loh. Nightfall anjir. Buat satu orang doang. Order sih not looking good.
Confidence building for the man and Maple on the board. We are able to see just in that one round combined that maybe there is some additional signs of life, right? right? We know that Order do have a strong attacking side here and there.
Calling,
but again,
time out,
they're just going to use that timeout, discuss what's happened in that previous, because that one looked much better. Ronski this time as well. He got a pick, fell back, repositioned, another pick. Second, again, a little bit lucky, but at least now we're finally seeing him do the damage that we know he can. And the only thing is, I guess, Maple did have to burn the Nightfall for that frag. Irrespective, though, they've got what they needed in that round.
Senjata paling baru ya, skin paling baru itu tadi. Bagus skinnya, cuma aku nggak suka suaranya.
Right? Get a little bit of a settle down for yourself. Not maybe so much as to, you know, reinvigorate yourself as a team for Onyx G, but to slow Order down, because such a momentum-based team that we keep talking about time and time again. You get a round like that, everybody's hyped up. A pause can generally simmer that down a little bit. Maybe it puts a bit more silence on towards Ronski here. So we'll have to wait and see if that is going to turn out. But for Onyx G, you know, they've already kind of gotten what they needed in the first half, right? Anything here from now on in these next 2 rounds is extra change.
Well, can kind of run back and, you know, use a little bit of time. Itu ini sih, apa namanya, preferensi masing-masing. Right? You know, Onyx G, a very young team in its own right, with a lot of fresh talent that is really trying to step up into the world of Valorant and show themselves. And again, that argument, the top 3 in Indonesia are also close. Like, who's the best, right? Onyx G are the top seeded, but it's the exact same thing to be said for players like RDW, like old mate Ronski.
Mau nyoba gayanya ini kan?
Confident, bring the force.
Nyoba gayanya 4 second.
And straight out. No
frag, no gayanya Peprex itu.
Build your own.
It almost looked like he was blinded there as well before the frag come through, but he got a glimpse of Shiro before he was able to find the frag. And now again, Order, they have the opening kill.
Yang ini lagi dapatnya si Zero lagi.
Good position.
Buat cari informasi.
Time to let it simmer, and this is where Onyx G is starting to question themselves a little bit more now, right? Order's not trying to kind of push their way down to force another fight or anything along those lines. There is some information off the back of that Prowler into main, which they're doing it right again, but they're so close. Up on the line with Texter, he almost had the shot, but there's only one though. Elmi Moore gets that trade rendezvous straight out, but the shells were perfect. Disco did well to at least force Monyet back, but now as they set up towards A.
Texter's lost that line a couple of times now, pushing deep in towards short after Order have been finding these picks. And for Onyx G, they always pick that angle in tandem. They always make sure they've got a buddy for the trade, but they've pretty much been winning that duel without losing a member, right? So now in this 3 versus 3, it's a creep in towards this A side. RDW, he's done it from here before. He needs to make sure it's a bit of a wider swing or the fallback for the retake. His teammates are not here, and Onyx G do have the site now.
They're heading up short, but they've closed the door, and that's what's going to make it awkward. So RDW has to be very, very careful to wait out for the rest of this.
Karena nggak ada waktu kalau ngeplaynya di situ, mati dia.
That's going to be punished. There's a lot of awkwardness here. Elmi Moore though finds RDW.
Elmi Moore.
Fantastic response, and he's got the line, but now they're setting the focus. They reposition accordingly, but it's going to have to be onto the big man in Disco. The Nebula is going to bite the space, and he spots the line. And NC Slicer can get the job done again. Onyx, they will confirm the half and continue again to just push more pressure down onto Order. I feel like Texter
dengan smoke di situ, dia bakalan paranoid ke ini. Karena smoke-nya tadi di sini tuh, dia bakalan bingung tuh mau ngeliat. Anjir, aku mau jelasin. Karena smoke-nya di sini. Dia bingung mau ngeliat arah sini atau arah bawah sini. Makanya dia maju ke sini biar tertutup kan, tapi dilihat sama monyet. Dilihat sama NC Slasher.
Another avenue that Onyx G can waltz in towards the A site, and they overwhelm it and they win it out in the end. So coming into the last round of this half here now, Onyx G falling back on the laurels, doing what they like to do most. It's grouping around this B side, but this is a little bit different from Order. Ronski deep in towards B main with a friend, and he finds the opener.
Yeah, they used a lot to try and find this fight. Now they're going to be battling it back here. The Nightfall goes in, Ronski goes down, and that's what it is all about. Are they going to be able to continue, though, this defense at the same time? Because it looks like the brakes have absolutely been parked. Now Monyet looks to jump over the top. No, not quite. He's been pulled away.
And with all this as well, Texter's gotten into wine and got a little bit of a peek out in towards A main. So the information for Order right now is that nobody was home. Everyone's contained over towards B main, or maybe potentially over in through towards mid. You got a spot out from Disco there, and this is where things do reset. Back over towards the A side has been a very common place for Onyx G.
Oke, di Legend dia, dicek tuh. Ini dicek tadi. Di sini Gelato.
They don't have the Terror Dart.
Itu harusnya dicek gitu. Cek agak ya.
But look at Elmi Moore's positioning at the exact same time. They have to walk in. They've got to be ready for this right now. Is the peak going to come in? Will Monyet be ready?
No.
Not quite. RDW going to rip the head off. Maple punishes Elmi Moore, and there's finally an opportunity for Order to really lock down around, but they've got to be cautious. 4v2. Are they going to be able to do it? We have seen the null command get popped by RDW here, so they are going to be barreling straight through that nebula here. Both members inside main, one inside heaven in Disco. 12 seconds, not much left, and RDW to close. That is a perfect way to give Order some life.
Yep, they didn't.
This next half.
They didn't fall over their own feet there as well. They didn't give an opportunity for ONIG to get back in toward that round. Some nice timing for RDW with that sheriff shot, sorry, over towards main on towards Monyet. But yeah, really in those last sort of couple of rounds, Order, they got a bit of a wriggle. They got some early picks and they didn't overstep. That's the biggest thing we see a lot.
Mulai ini tiga
round belakangan. Maple was really struggling 0 and 8 at one point. He's got a couple of frags back in. He's had to use that utility well, and he has started to improve on it quite dramatically. And then the Ronski item, right? I'm pretty sure he was like 1 and 7.
Mulai paham gameplaynya ini ONIG, tapi udah telat. Nah ini bagus banget anjir. Spray transfernya sih pakai Phantom bagus banget ya. Itu kelebihannya Phantom daripada Vandal. Untuk spray transfer itu lebih bagus sih, karena firing apa reset recoil firing rate-nya itu lebih cepetan ini si apa namanya Phantom daripada Vandal. Nah ini loh yang ku bilang. Nah dia ngeliat sini kan. Nah lihat tuh dia ngeliat sini. Si ini si Disco ngeliatin arah itunya generator. Nah, dia ngeliatin sini soalnya apa, ada smoke di sini. Dia nggak tahu nih orangnya itu ada di belakang sini, di dalam smoke atau udah sampai sini. Bagus banget tadi smoke-nya di situ.
Order a 66% defensive sided win rate, and they are trailing here in this map right now. So already it puts ONIG G just a little bit further forward on those statistic marks, but this is where things are going to be really big, right? The pistol rounds for Order have been a little bit hit and miss towards this series right now, and the subsequent rounds with those thrifties coming back, if you remember how the half first started here on Ascent. But for now, bit of a quick how do you do over towards A main for Order.
Very, very fast. Looking to get straight into there. The gravity well does hold them a little bit, but there is a very good, solid force back by that Haunt too. There'll be more on the line. He's missed a couple of shots though this time. Very important. Ronski gets the trade out this time. Disco straight into the site. We talked about him being a little bit more quiet, but Shiro's got a number for him as well. They're so low. That's the big thing here.
No, Severin mati. Nggak ada flash lagi nih.
We're looking for. Door will be closed. But RDW, but the quick in. The pick of Shiro. That's the spike dropped as well, Komodo. The communications we've seen so many rounds where Order have irrespectively not known who's picking up that spike, and the shots, the damage, they've not yet. He is through. He is damaged. He is taken by the man in Disco.
Dia mau make a play tadi. Sayang banget. Kalau andaikan tadi Disco itu dapat kill, maunya dapat kill Disco, itu menang tadi. Menang itu tadi. Sayangnya dia nggak pas Disco ini apa namanya? Kontrol ya. Apa ya? Crouching. Anjir, aku bingung bahasanya apa. Crouching dia tadi. Jadi dia harus disuain crosshair-nya tadi si siapa? Si Monyet. Mana ada replaynya kagak? No, kagak dikasih.
Makes the narrow window of where you have to start shooting at him to find him, right? So Order gathering the pistol round makes things a bit better for them. They can look to close it up and tie it up at the 7-7 piece if they're able to convert this round.
Exactly right. Second pistol, right? They picked
Severin sih berani banget dia.
That second round and damage has been dealt by Monyet this time round. However, Ronski's hungry. He's happy up over the top, and Maple will hold it. Very nicely done there. So it should be a final position, unless we do see Omi Moore do something disgusting. Damage is all he can hope for, but he's lost a couple of bullets in that chamber, and that was a very bad flash. RDW. Bad boy.
Look, it's only one frag going the way of ONIG G in that round. It's fine. Ronski can maybe get an upgrade to a Vandal and be able to test them in the next round when we've got the guns to come through from ONIG G. And it is a very ambitious purchase to come through for the Odin here in Shiro.
All I'm thinking about that team flash is Ronski's catching up to RDW on the frags now. It's like, no, I'm top fragging this game, okay? But no, look, it all happened. Still very, very well done. You know, again, I just didn't want to see any more calls for concern that Order were going to kind of just give themselves up on a silver platter to ONIG G, because what we've seen at least now, Komodo, is a 7-7 scoreline. It is not going to be that same experience as what we got on Breeze, which was the 13-6 victory for ONIG G.
Yeah, you got to remember as well, a 6-6 tied scoreline at the half on the attacking side for Order against Fancy United, but they want to get closed over a little bit quicker, it would seem, specifically into this A side where they are rampaging in toward it right now. But Monyet, he's He's dancing with the dice and he's rolling his number going to escape, but it's into the crosshair of RDW. And now in the 2 versus 2, Shiro is still here with that Odin. He can purr the bullets out to try and find the frag, but that glass will be shattered by Texter. He's trying to find the frag. He's trying to be an instigator, but no, Shiro aware of the fact very, very quickly. Maybe RDW falling away, give up the goat, give up the information.
Mereka udah tahu DB dia.
Texter was trying to do.
Harus cepat planting.
Facing a 1 versus 2. This is risky.
That's the big bold brain play, right? Getting that information as quickly as you can into the attacker side at spawn, but defender rather. Now he's back into the boat shed, gets the info onto that swing. Seas goes down, will not quite catch. It's going to be really, really tough here in this 1v2 for RDW. Tap onto the defuse here, but they've just got to clear it. They've got to look absolutely everywhere here. He's got to make sure.
Nice, let's go.
But it's again the man, the myth, the Me More, who won't be taking any L's in this round.
I was wondering how readable of a position that was going to be for RDW, right? Going to the back of the site, where ONIC are wise to the fact, right? They spread themselves out. They clear over towards the logs. They're making sure they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's before getting into the site themselves. If RDW is lurking there in a 1-to-1 trade, you're happy with that because you get the round. However, that was a pretty costly investment for ONIC, right? The big gun round to come on through. The Odin has been taken out. Shiro's now playing with the Bulldog. Maple's picking up an Odin of his own. ONIC, they do reclaim that lead here. But again, you know, with the gun rounds that keep presenting themselves right now, it does come down to all that information that these teams have got a little bit earlier, right? ONIC on that attacker side were very aggressive in the first couple of seconds of those rounds to get a little bit of control, or holding back outside of that B main location, and really toing and froing, pendulum him around the map.
Pause in, timeout to discuss again. Perfect opportunity for a mental reset, right? You know, you don't want to sort of throw too much of what you've got in those last couple of rounds out the door to be able to convert the pistol, convert the second, and then do so much damage to the ONIC economy, right? Now what we look at, Bulldog, Spectre, they've really got nothing in the coffer at all to work with. Vronsky's managed to establish the Blade Storm. Yeah, exactly. A good swing round again for order to kind of get that catch back. You know, this will mean 8, then potentially 9 against an eco if they do find it. But ONIC, the exact same thing, right? Order in the exact same financial predicament, didn't take out the loan at the right time, and now inflation's been hitting them. So they've got to be careful that they do not get rid of this. Ultimates are a big play. Do have the Nightfall, and not too far away from that null command.
Very early tactical timeout as well to come through from Order, right? Only 3 rounds really been played in this half, and that's already here. So I wonder if it's an early call for them to really get back in towards this one right now, if they feel like there was a mistake in that previous round that they could have won it, because there definitely were instances that they could have. And now this is very Order-esque with how ONIC are actually playing over towards A main at the moment. You change up the agents, yeah, for sure. RDW, he'll have to be the one to find the multi-frag potentially, but you're exactly right. He's ready for this. If there's a flash, though, from the KO, it would be huge. There's the first one overlooking the second member, NC Slasher. Oh, he gets taken down to 76 points of HP. It could have been dire. And now Shiro is the next contest over in the market, but he's looking to cut that check, print the receipt.
Udah kecil banyak anjir, 11 HP.
Well, not really convinced with that position at all, but Maple does get the catch, does get the lurk, now he's ready to send a Nightfall out. It's not going to quite clip Severine though. Keep your eyes on this man right now. They haven't cleared him, they haven't looked, and he's stuck in the corner, but he will get that flash drive out. The paint shells will force him away. Very wise.
From Disco. Anjir, Severine nice banget. Dapat informasi, ngedile. Nice, dapat kill. Udah.
Onto Disco now. It's going to be onto Maple. Man hasn't been having the best of games. Unfortunately, he cannot close. Cannot clutch. We saw it a couple of times in the previous series yesterday, but it's ONIC taking the lead and absolutely breaking that economy down here for Order. They got nothing in the bank account.
Yeah, Disco and Maple, the 2 versus Elmi Moore and Severine, but you don't really necessarily need Severine. If Elmi Moore's going to just be ever so consistent with finding these frags, very, very rapid to take your head off, specifically on that known dice angle, right? You got the plant going down over towards the default spot, and then it really is just the 1v1 for Elmi Moore, right? And percentages show that he is winning these more often than not in this series right now, even more. So another round over towards ONIC on the back of Order's timeout nonetheless, which means if they had a discussion directly for that next round, it didn't go their way.
And they bought again, so clearly they want to actually try and make this happen, right? They know that the money is still not absolutely fantastic. They're waiting for some utility to come out. Not spotted yet, which is huge. Now, here we're going to see that null command come out, this time from RDW. And are they going to be able to lock it down? There's NC Slasher, though.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
And he will be be able to drop it. Where are these two remaining members? Ronski, Texter clearing out, and Severin is in such an awkward spot. The Nightfall's going to catch them, and they've just completely left their boy in towards A-Long. There's nothing they can do. They're looking to jump into heaven, but Shiro's going to be there, and it's an absolute blunder coming out here for Order. Texter is going to have to do something insane here. 1 versus 4. He has picked up 1. He's got plenty of HP, but the flash drive goes through. Now he can look to reposition here, but I love the spot from NC Slash. He's gone straight into main, and Severin should not be too far away either. He is going to clear out the Jenny line, but look at this crossfire.
Nice.
It's beautiful. Onyx G have each other's backs. They're the boys, they're the brothers, and they know how to close each other's rounds to go together.
Posisinya NC Slash nggak di-expect sama sekali sama ini. Kurang order, kurang di Legion
comfortably is playing over towards Ryan, right? But maybe not feeling that anyone from Onyx G is going to be playing there, not putting any utility to clear it. No fragment to come out from RDW after using his ultimate as well. No paint shells from Disco, no information over towards Ryan, and it's just been spilled over them at the moment in that previous round. So as you mentioned, they did force it on through. They went for that buy, and here they're going for a more honest half purchase, and we've seen a play from Order. With just like this, they run through mid, they try to get in towards tiles. It didn't work for Order, but for Onyx G, it is working right now. Looking for a very quick shutdown of a round, and RDW, yeah, he's just trying to have fun with this one.
Complete and utter disrespect to come out from Onyx G and around to basically kind of like put that spike into the coffin, right? Yep. You know, nailing it straight down. Onyx G are telling them basically just through the gameplay itself that we are better than you here. We know that we are going to be a serious contender for the top of this competition, right? You think about the seeds that we've had come into it, lead at the top, Onyx G second, and just looking so strong as the rest of the competition does start to unfold. And look at the spread of the kills, right? Over to the other side, Texter, he was the impact man. He was playing so well, and you can't quite criticize always on frags, but it's just a clear disparity. You got 2 members doing something, the rest are all sort of falling behind, whereas on Onyx G, they're doing absolutely everything.
Gayanya Peprex dipakai anjir.
Straight through long, straight, and again, the knife in the back of Order.
Through the box, by the way. The little single box that's over in A main with the spikes there too.
Look, I'm just not surprised at this point. Now Texter solos, trying to Shrouded step in, Severin gets it.
This is...
it's kind of like too much spaghetti in the pockets. They've tripped over. They're trying to put it back in, but it's just all over their hands right now. And the series is kind of wiped away by the spaghetti.
Yeah, a bit of a masterclass on a couple of these last rounds for Onyx G on how to play a defensive side against more often a team that likes to play very aggressive, right? Order, they do not shy away from a very early fight. We see it from Ronski in the first half where he got away with it a couple of times, but now moving over into the later stages of the second half. Onyx G, again, it feels like in the very beginning of these matches they're having a little bit of a wrestle, a bit of a tug of war to figure out how to play, but as soon as they figure out what to do, their feet are planted, they've got all the support they need to just get that final tug, and then it's just so simple from there on out.
It's just really, really clean, concise Valorant to come out from Onyx G. You know, sure, Order aren't all on the same page. They're not all firing on all cylinders. You know, as the analyst desk did continue to mention, it's just not enough. And Onyx G are showing themselves as the clear powerhouse here in this matchup right now. So we've got a setup. We've got a line just outside of A. Maple is going to be the one to start it, ready to throw that Nightfall in. And how is it going to look? Texter straight into heaven to try and sell some sort of a fake information, but he's actually sent himself elsewhere. And it's going to be Disco to pick up 2. That is going to be the ultimate drop in heaven. Ronski gets another. Severin's going to be dropped, and it's all onto Elmi Moore, who is a fair way away from home. And it's just going to be damage on the cards for him now. Game's not done just yet, Komodo.
Not just yet. Elmi Moore, the 1 versus 4, revealed by the 0 point as well, and the hunt is on for Order. They need to be holding on to these guns, though. They need to make sure they've got everything in the next round, and that they will. An 8th finally secured for them after quite a bit of time.
Pelan-pelan, coy. 1 round lagi, jangan tak kabur.
Over towards the A side.
Pelan-pelan,
Bit of a, you know, just overwhelming force to Onyx G, but I will remind you, a lot of the assistive factors in that round just then for Order were those ultimates. The Nightfall to completely disorient the Onyx boys, the TP from Texter over towards Heaven as well to get some extra information. They cannot rely upon that in this next round.
Another timeout. Good time to do it. You know, obviously only 1 more round required here for Onyx G, and I do like to see that both these teams have taken both those timeouts across the course of the series, right? It means that they are sort of trying to just at least set that focus, have that time to reset. and work out exactly what the opposing team is doing.
Nggak dapat
I like
trade
in the
sama
small
sekali tadi.
little moment that I've been able to see in that replay as well that Disco was the one to drop the KO whilst
Aku nonton yang Eagles karena
commanded.
ini cuy.
So for
Yang
Severin,
Indonesia
down for the count and
agak
everything,
lama kan,
but
lebih lama
it was
dan
Disco, it was
kadang
Ronski,
nge-lag
and it was
juga
IDW
di
trying to finish him off to
streaming
get the
yang
kill.
bahasa Indonesia.
Absolutely. Needing those frags to come back in because, you know, that is the one role swap that we are sort of seeing right now, right? It appears that RDW is slotting into Disco's kind of things that he's been picking up. And, you know, back in the day, again, as we were talking about, Disco used to be one of those
yang bisa aku
players
serap
that was brought in
informasinya
alongside
70%
Autumn to be
dari
the decimator,
omongan
to be the
casternya tuh
strength
70 sampai
in the
80%
roster.
aku
But
bisa
as
dengar.
of late, you know, he has been more strong sort of on those Sentinels kind of things, you know, like the Chamber now coming back.
Yeah, and of course this roster that we're seeing, this agent lineup for Onyx G was the one they used previously against Alter Ego, right? But this is a new rendition for Order. We've seen this same lineup if you change Ronski from Jet to Chamber.
Correct. Exactly right. Ronski, you know, wants to have that comfort back onto the Jet. It's somewhere where he was always sort of looking his best. Definitely has a good game on Chamber, though, here and there. You know, we've seen him look good on Fracture, but...
So, bit of a silent one for Order, down through mid, Severin in what could be a one and done position as well. The Haunt in the window, going to be destroyed, pulling out the flash drive and the Paradox.
Timing.
Ronski
Timing,
start to lead the charge, but is this go time in towards the market, this B split? It is such a crunch as well. There's nobody home on the site for Onyx G currently. They're all playing over towards the defender spawn, RDW to NC Slasher, and this is the stuff we were missing from Order earlier.
Nice.
Site taken. Elmi Moore does actually manage to pick up one as a response.
4v3
that's a long way from home, right? RDW into position. This is where we need to see Order lock in and make sure that they do not lose these picks individually. It's a 3v4. They have the advantage. And it looks like Onyx G are actually being relatively hesitant here. Komodo, Shiro only with that Odin, Elmi Moore, and Operator very hard to find that retake in as they do push into this site.
That's exactly right. And the only real assistive thing they've got is Shiro with that Seize. If he can get a couple of members with it, would be big. But no reveal over towards B main. The containment for Order, they need to hold everything in this one on toward the side. A good shot out from Maple to Elmi Moore. And that might just be the thing to send Onyx G packing in this one. Take the Odin as your prize, take the Phantom to the next round as well. You've still got a Blazestorm from Monyet. There will be a buy for Onyx G in the next round. But any damage they could do towards Order, it's not going to reset them just yet, but it might make the next couple of rounds a little bit easier to close out this match.
Absolutely. So only Monyet to live on. 3 members of Order will keep on kicking, and they've got enough money to buy for their boys in RDW and Texter, who were unfortunately going down. But look, I think RD did really well in this round to kind of keep some focus. You know, it kept Elmi Moore back towards that A position, and you know, Elmi Moore has been really sort of being that B lockdown, and he's been completely taken to the other side, and they kind of capitalized on that. I think Ronski had a fantastic position, the entry in to actually dodge around the Prowler to get into market before taking side accordingly, and that really just quickly freaked Onyx G out. They got straight back out. And now, I mean, look, I'm not going to say I'm a believer just yet, Komodo, because there's still 3 more rounds, but overtime would be absolutely spicy.
Well, I think for right now, I just don't want to see Onyx G latibulate in corner, right? I don't want to see them go and hide away. I don't want to see them kind of be pressured too much by Order right now. And again, we are seeing Order slow things down. Over and towards mid, dark cover. You do have Elmi Moore hiding in toward it, and Monyet over at the short corner where Texter has been done quite a much time, but this time he's able to actually win it.
Got the opposition fight. An opener, an important one, but Elmi Moore is there again. The man, the consistent player who continues to do it. Rendezvous out, a quick snap of the fingers, because it looks like Disco is pretty keen to jump on in. I think that was to break the trademark, but it actually has missed. So still 2 members here, and it is going to be Elmi Moore continuing to tap away with that one. Haunt goes out. They don't get the info though, but they're not aggressing just yet. They're still holding.
And Severin's here to assist Elmi Moore as well, right? So they've got a little bit of an allotted crossfire if they do want, but this is the time for Order to go in toward the site. No Nightfall action. It's going to miss them, but it's all a ruse. It's all a fake. The short play is actually the thing happening right now. NC Slasher is going to be the first point of contact with RDW.
Disiplin banget jaga ini
arms.
Jaga
There's 20 seconds to go.
They've got to make a decision right now. Like, what's going on? They're walking in solo. Like, what is this? Where's the call? Where was the comms? Game's done. Like, game's lost. There's nothing they can do here at all.
Disco's way too far from the action. The spike's on the other side of the map. It doesn't even matter if he won that duel against Severine there. It is done 13-9 over towards Onyx G. I can't help but feel in that one, the ball was in Order's court and they tossed it to Onyx G.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what exactly happened there. It just felt like there was no communication between the team. You know, we talk about 2 lackluster finishes where Order just basically didn't do anything in those last couple of rounds, right? Onyx G kind of just waited and held it. And yeah, look, I'm really hurting for Order again because all it can, you know, as a massive Australian Valorant fan,
as an
Order
enthusiast,
an Order enthusiast, you just didn't see that cohesion in the end. And I'm sure the boys on the desk are feeling the exact same thing. What do you reckon, guys? Just not on the same page, eh?
Hey, as much as you're feeling it for Order, we're feeling it for you guys again.
Big time.
That was serious. Jesus.
Fans at home, this is a great commercial on the side effects of copium. It hurts. It hurts, especially when they give you a little bit of life like that. You're stringing together rounds, and on the round that you lose, you get the opening frag, and you're starting to hear Dion just a little bit be like, oh, they got an opening kill.
This one goes
This is the Order that we were waiting to see. This is going to be the one.
And especially after their victory yesterday, you know, especially after having such a good run so far, it kind of hurts extra if you just have a little bit of success and then it just gets taken away from you.
Finished our death segment. We were walking past the area where they were casting, and you can see Dion just go. Oh, my heart went out to him, really.
Yeah,
I really did.
I like the showing that they had here on Ascent, though. They did have some fight back. It was, and you could see where the mistakes were starting to be made. And also, I remember distinctly a plant on, I believe it was B, where they were going in one at a time. It was multiple times where you saw Order not on the same page, going in one at a time while one was coming to flank on the opposite side. And it showed. It showed over and over again. Whereas Onyx G, as we set up in the highlight earlier, they are the younger team, quicker hands, and they will just ask you a lot of questions. And Order has to have things in order with their answers, and they did not.
I think Secret did this very, very well in that opening game, which was they were very quick to call their timeouts. They were very quick to try and just delay the momentum of their opponents, so that way they could use their experience, their advantage. For Order, I think they did end up coming up with solutions. They did end up coming up with some contingencies. The issue is it just felt like a little bit too little, too late.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like their defense was actually pretty strong, right? They kept a close score. I think that is one of the points of I contested earlier, right? I think the defense would have been tested the most, considering how aggressive, how explosive Onyx are, and they actually didn't react too badly to it. So at the end of the day, I guess it was too much, as you did say, Kremer, but you know, there are some positives out of this, and with an opponent such as Onyx, it's really hard to kind of try and justify the loss, you know, to try and justify where they would have actually won.
Again, multiple times that Elmi Moore stepped up, and he is your MVP for Onyx on the victorious side. Severine as well, with multiple big plays. On the opposite, we got the wrong ski. We got the wrong ski sighting, but you know, I think there are questions to be asked here of some of the other members of the squad.
You're right. Actually, on the topic of sort of members of the squad, while this was a sort of showing as to Order potentially being a little bit slow to react, this was a great showing for Onyx.
Yes.
These guys played out of their minds, particularly on Breeze.
And as much as, like you said, we talked about Order not playing as much as well as we would have hoped. Yeah, you're right. Onyx did a tremendously good job, as well as with that KO. The follow-up on those frags was absolutely insane. Yes, it didn't come down to the first entry many of those times, but afterwards, you know, you always had that follow-up in those clutch positions as well, right? On those retakes, man. Some of those shouldn't have really happened for them, but they were so very good at converting them. It was just immaculate to watch.
When I see a graph like this, I always love seeing it. First half, it was controlled by Onyx. Second half, those critical moments in which Order had a credit lead, they weren't able to get the win, and you just saw a bunch of crossing up and down. You got a couple of ecos there, but you really want to see the team be dominant when they should be winning the rounds.
Exactly. I think it was one or two crucial rounds could have been won there, and we have a completely different second half. And there's a very good chance we're going to a third map, very good chance we're seeing overtime. Unfortunately, Onyx, they just stepped up in the right places.
All right, well, Onyx representing for Indonesia, yet another win, 3-0, Indonesia. They've won all of their matches so far. the Aussie boys will go back to the drawing board. They have another opportunity, but up
Finalnya
next,
Indonesia semua nih, bisa
the
nih.
tournament favorites. It's
Tapi
Bleed
boom
versus
ketemu
Alter Ego.
Onyx
Don't
ya.
go anywhere. You're watching VCT.
Besok. Tim Indonesia itu ada 3. Tim Thailand 1, Vietnam 2, Hongkong. Vietnam 1, Hongkong 1. Vietnam 2 tim cuy. Vietnam 2 tim, Indonesia 3 tim, Hongkong 1, Australia 1, Thailand 1, Filipina 1. Berat. Berat ini coy. Wadidaw. Habis ini boom ketemu ini lagi. Nih. Boom ketemu Onyx kan. Alter Ego ketemu lagi. Ketemu orang Indonesia. Kalau ini kan pasti Indonesia kan 1. Kalau Alter Ego menang, di sini menang, ketemu lagi orang Indonesia lagi di sini. Surprise Sport. Ini famous sih. Ya, famous. Tim Indonesia banyak berarti ya, 15 orang. Iya, 15 tuh. Vietnam 2 tim, Filipina 1 tim, Thailand 1 tim, Australia 1 tim, Hongkong 1 tim. Ya. Oh, ini Malaysia ya. Malaysia Singapura 1 tim. Sweden tapi ini 2. Nah. Malaysia Singapura 1 tim. Indonesia 3 tim, 1 2 3. Thailand, Filipina, Australia, Vietnam, Hongkong, Taiwan. Ini kapan nih? Besok ya. Besok. Berat tim Indonesia ketemu tim Indonesia besok. Boom ketemu Onyx. Ya aku kok pengen dua-duanya bisa lolos tapi nggak mungkin kan. Diambil cuma 1 kan untuk champion kalau nggak salah. Iya kan? Diambil untuk champion ya kan. Untuk satu slot doang dari last chance ya. APAC last chance.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the VCT APAC 2022 LCQ. I'm Taj Bunny, your favorite host, which unfortunately whose chair was stolen by Digon this morning. With me I have my analysts with me, Kramer and Pavlos, my favorite British as well as
Cyprian.
I
have to think for a second there.
I had to think for a second because
it's not a country that you come across very often.
not often, right? So Cyprian duo, well not duo, I mean lovers.
Would you?
Yeah, we're
Lovers.
Oh, don't leak that. Come on.
Now it's out there, you know.
Okay. I mean, let's keep it down low. But
Yeah.
like, your Twitter accounts are just saying everything. Like, it's already out there.
It's a secret between you, me, and the 18,000 people watching.
Okay, so for now, let's talk about what happened in the match earlier. That was Onyx as well as team Onyx and
Order.
Order, yeah. Order, yeah.
Yep.
So Onyx and Order was honestly one of the most exciting matches that I really wanted to watch. And honestly, it was a little bit more surprising the fact that Onyx is actually still not only consistent, but also improving much more than last stage. But if not for that for now, let's talk a little bit about the teams, or at least the game that's coming up next. And I have to say, this is like something I'm very passionate about because this is a team from my region. It's Bleed, and they're meeting up against Alter Ego. we've seen Alter Ego play, but we haven't seen Bleed just yet.
We haven't. What I quite like about Bleed is
Malaysia, Singapore kan Bleed.
Where we see a lot of Indonesian teams is they play a lot on the kind of tier 2 international tournaments. So their practice against one another is very, very strong. When you have the likes of Order, when you have the likes of Fancy, they don't usually get practice outside of their region, and that can really show, particularly sort of when in tournaments like this. For now, Bleed, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how they play. I've seen them recently. I'm really excited to see what they could do with Rattler.
Yeah, that's right. You recently just casted one of their tournaments, I believe. And this is really exciting because for Bleed, I mentioned before, and I will say it again, this is a fusion of flavors between Southeast Asia, particularly Singapore, as well as the 2 players of over from EU. So now with Rattler in, Lexi
Sweden,
out, and we know that Rattler is one of the most legendary players we know. Very, very great at that at those flanks, really, really good at those headshots. What do you think he can bring to their roster?
I think he can bring quite a bit, you know. I think there's a lot behind them, but I think there's also a lot of anticipation because of the past month, you know. A lot of these teams have improved a lot, have done a lot of pracking, and, you know, have refined some of those rough edges. And I think Bleed is one of those teams that we kind of expect to be at a position where they'll be contenders for this tournament, right? One of the high hitters of it, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm actually very excited about this matchup because now we can see how these adjustments have come into place and how actually competitive they can be in comparison to the rest.
Speaking of comparison, let's have a look at Alter Ego. This is one of Indonesia's favorite teams, and I'm really excited to talk about the Noxy, iDrinking, Xlavia, Kush, Delby, and we've seen their performance yesterday. Yesterday, each of them were all very, very self-sufficient. They're able to hold their own, but also provide that support for their teammates.
What I really liked from Alter Ego yesterday was the fact that even though the games were close, they never looked like they were panicking at any given point. They looked like a very, very composed team. And particularly when you have the likes of sort of Delby on the Neon, who did have quite a quiet opening to that series, once he really started to find his groove, you could tell at no point was he sort of overextending, at no point was he getting tilted. And for me, Alter Ego is now sort of emerging as one of those really stable teams, and they're becoming a bit of a measurement as to how good are you in APAC? Well, can you beat Alter Ego? And if you can, then hey, you're pretty good. If you're not, then there's still a bit of work to be done.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about their playstyles. As we know, like, if you look at Indonesian teams, their playstyles a little bit more just W gaming, very aggressive. We've seen it from the likes of Boom, we've seen it on Onyx. But what about Bleed? I want to say that they play kind of similar to Malaysia, Singapore, but Malaysia, Singapore, they're a little bit more calculative, I believe, the way they play. We've seen it in Paper X as well, but Paper X has a little bit more speed compared to Bleed, who are sometimes, they can really go fast if they want to, but at times they can go super slow and then suddenly just press the pedal to the metal actually and just go explosive. What do you think, Pavlos?
I think even if that's the case, I think if you look at the other end where Alter Ego come in, I think it's the fact that all 5 players can actually come alive that is really important about it, right? No matter the playstyle, as long as you have every single one of these players kind of having the possibility to clutch up when is required is a really important aspect to have, you know. Not many teams do have that. Often you rely on 1 or 2, and that's the case like on a lot of these regions, right? You have a lot of support around it, kind of expect the first players to enter the site and stuff like that to kind of take on.
Setiap player itu dibutuhkan kalau mereka bisa
So let's have a look at the head-to-head. Let's see which players are our favorites for today, and it's going to be Darion and Kush. So Darion, we know, this impressive jet, raise player all around. He is a very, very fast-paced player. First on the site, first to get those picks, and first out again. Compared to Kush, Kush isn't a duelist. He's actually an initiator player, but yet you can see that that's why the difference there for the ACS 244 for 219. But why do you think they're being compared?
I mean, yesterday Kush had an incredible opening over Cypher on Haven. I mean, that's an endangered species as it is, but he absolutely dominated.
Haven Cypher,
something like 26 of 15. Yes. Out of his mind, and on a Cypher you just don't expect to see that. I think Gambit did it a good while ago, but since then I can't think of any other Cyphers who have really sprung to mind. So yeah.
Really, I mean, we're slowly seeing this come into shape. I think internationally also that Cypher role or lurking role, if you will, can be very highly influential. If you can hold your own in positions that your opponents won't expect, either that is cutting off rotations or getting into nestling yourself into angles when the rest of the team is trying to attempt to rotate, for example, can do quite a bit. So being able to rely on a player like that is actually massive, and you know, and it can throw a lot of teams off guard.
I mean, when you talk about Cypher, I think previously in Malaysia, Singapore VCT Stage 2, I believe we saw Retla playing with Lays. Huatzai. Playing with Huatzai, yes. He was a sub. He subbed in because one of the players couldn't play, and I believe he was playing Cypher as well, and his Cypher was actually on point. So honestly, if I could have a head-to-head, I would like to see Kush and Retla. But let's put that aside because we want to talk about predictions. So this is very interesting because we all know, like a lot of people, a lot of fans at home, they pretty much have their heart set on Bleed because their fan base is huge. We've seen their performance. It's incredible. But what about Alter Ego?
I mean, Alter Ego, there are definitely merits to this team, and on a very good day, they can definitely take down Bleed.
Absolutely.
But your prediction?
Unfortunately, it's going to have to be Bleed.
Bleed for you.
Yeah.
And Crema?
Oh, it's got to be Bleed.
Bleed. Okay, unfortunately, I do come from Malaysia, Singapore region. It has to be Bleed for me, but
Triple Bleed.
It's triple Bleed, but remember, we've had situations where it's all triple for one team, and we were just proven otherwise.
Yeah.
So for now, let's talk a little bit about maps. So for Bleed, I think we usually
menang,
saw on
kalau
stage
menurutku si Alter
when
Ego,
the
tergantung
map pick was
mapnya.
usually
Map
a set, but
dia.
you think they'll be changed?
What I think
Kalau
has become
Heaven-nya
quite
di
consistent for
ban,
most teams in this
Brisnya
region
di
is
ban,
a set
Bleed,
becomes a comfort map.
karena pas ngelawan
For
Paper X
me,
juga
I think
kuat.
Haven can actually be very, very strong.
Fracture
So
di
I'm
black.
really looking forward to seeing either a set of Haven or
Fracture-nya kemarin sih
Definitely could be seeing
serem
that.
aja.
And it's
Bayern.
biased
From Bleed.
From
Set
Bleed.
of Haven.
I know,
There we go,
I can
there we
definitely
go.
expect that, and I don't blame them for picking blind because when you look at the
Asen
Bleed side,
nih.
yes, they've got.
Asen nih kayaknya.
I mean, their map pool is
Asen.
quite strong as it is. I think
Oh,
bind is
Heaven.
probably where you
There's
can
your
find
Heaven
some
pick.
of your weaknesses.
Oh,
and
no,
yeah, as
Heaven
you mentioned,
pick.
Heaven, standard.
I think best case scenario for Bleed now would be to have Ascent as your final map. What I think is very good from Alter Ego as well is with Bind being the first pick, it's a map which we haven't seen Bleed play in a very long time. In the last
Ascent
stage
di ban,
2,
Icebox
they
di
just
ban,
didn't
so
play it for the whole
decider-nya
tournament.
ada
Icebox
di
being removed. That is going to leave us with Split as a decider.
Wow.
That is
Wah, ini
interesting.
3
Bear in
game
mind
sih.
that Bleed have played
3
a very
game.
effective Split in the past. It's not one that they've sort of liked going to, but it's one they've gone to mainly out
Bleed
of
bagus juga
necessity.
cuy di
The
Split.
one thing I'm interested in though is the fact that Alter Ego, their Split is something to fear. Now, knowing that stats, if I'm Bleed, I'm trying to stay away from the third map.
Yeah, 2-0 is definitely the way to go for Bleed. If it goes to a third map, it might get a little bit risky. I don't think
Bleed
that
lumayan
change,
juga
that
cuy
seeing the
mainnya.
veto changes
Di-
my mind about who's going to win the
Split.
series.
Yeah.
But if it does end up going to a third map, Bleed may be in trouble.
Yeah, because personally, Split can go anywhere. That's the reason why it's called Split. Because sometimes you may think that a team has a full hole on that map. Suddenly, something goes awry, and that's it. That's the end, because it's a very tiny map, considering that. But seeing the fact that we're seeing Haven, I am still concerned for Bleed. Bleed has a good track record with Haven, but with the condition that Lexi was there on his breach. But now, it's Retla. And I'm not too sure if they are going to give Retla the same Cypher role that he always did, or is he going to be playing Duelist, because that's the track record that he had. So for now, what do you guys think might happen, or what do you guys want to see from each team? Let's give Premier, Bleed, and Alter Ego to Pavlos.
From Bleed, I think that Darion can be very, very effective, but sometimes he overextends. And I think if you can keep Darion on tight leash, if you can keep him sort of staying very disciplined, very slow, then Bleed are going to have a very good job at trying to find just man advantages and working from there.
I think even though seeing the kind of the new addition over to the Bleed side, I think Alter Ego is very good at adapting. So I want to see them quickly adjusting to how Bleed are going to be playing out, and especially because they start off on their own map pick at the first instance, I think it's the best way to kind of get momentum going in their way right from the start.
All right, so
Serem sih
we've
ini,
already heard
ngelawan
coming there
Bleed
from
tuh.
our analysts. So we're going to be taking a quick break.
Soalnya
After this,
Bleed lumayan
and
bagus
Alter
sih di
Ego.
Heaven
Let's see
tuh.
who brings back
Track
that number
recordnya
one.
dia bagus. Heaven ya. Bahkan Paper X pun kena juga. Paper X pun pernah kalah cuy di APAC yang di Malaysia Singapura stage 2 kemarin. Yang di apa kalau nggak salah ya kan, dia itu kalah di Heaven, kemudian map 2 ketiganya menang Paper X, tapi jadi Bleed turun ke bawah, tapi yang menang tuh Heaven hanya. Heaven sih, sama Splitnya dia, Split sama Heaven. Kalau nggak Split Heaven lah, aku lupa. Antara dua itu, serem itu. Ini bisa 3 game sih, kemungkinan 3 gamenya gede. Tapi kita lihatlah performanya gimana. Semua kan tergantung dari performa dan momentum kan kadang. Kalau momentum lagi dapat, harinya dapat ya tetap aja bisa menang cuy. AE. Tapi yang pasti sih Bind harus didapetin sama AE. Kalau nggak dapet AE, wah semakin berat cuy. Soalnya penentuannya di Heaven sama di Split kan jadinya. Splitnya lumayan kenceng, Heavennya juga lumayan kenceng. Bleed walaupun Heavennya AE juga lumayan sih. Kalau dari kemarin kan mainnya bagus cuy. Si Bleed kayaknya ini resource juga kan. Fracture-nya di ban. Kemarin sih di fracture 13-7 ya kalau nggak salah. Apa ya? Iya 13 Oh bukan anjir. Anjir bukan cuy. Ah salah. Salah aku kira di fracture bukan cuy. Bukan. Astaga. Salah dong. Itu siapa tuh yang main fracture kemarin berarti? Boom yang main terakhir kemarin ya. Tapi aku nggak nonton pas.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the last match of the day. It's Bleed versus Alter Ego. Digon here with Key. I feel like I saw you earlier on the broadcast. Just kind of
Pinoy Pride. So are you, right?
Yeah, we are Pinoy Pride. No Filipino squad on this match. Who will be joining them in the victorious column? Let's find out. Bleed versus Alter Ego as the death set up. A lot of firepower on both these squads, but of course, this is the matchup where we're excited to see Bleed, the tournament favorite, on display for the first time.
Yeah, they have the most points, but there is a shift in their lineup.
Yeah.
Lexi is not playing anymore. We've seen Lexi with Bleed since the very beginning. There's a big difference now. They've subbed in Redla, and that's because Lexi has to serve military service for Singapore.
A thing that happens in esports that doesn't happen many other places, but it affects a lot here, and it has affected this squad. So Redla coming on in. Upgrade, yes?
It's kind of a different player. Redla's a bit more of a Sentinel dedicated player. At least when he was playing before, it could have changed this time around. We have not seen this new iteration of Bleed really play. So I'm excited to see what it is, like whether it will be Redla who's actually changing things up. Will it be Pith who's the one who has been flexing a lot? Will he be the one taking the duelist mantle? We will have to see that.
Yeah, well, Agent Select is underway right now. You see on the left, it is Alter Ego, Axelavia locking in the smokes, as expected. Noxie gonna go with the chamber. Sky for Dern King, Delby on Raze.
Oh.
There we go, Fade going in. Here's your answer.
Double controller for Bleed. I think that's the most interesting part here. I expected Redla to go back to that Sentinel role and kind of shift things around, but it looks like they're sticking to it, and instead they've changed their aid compositions a bit to be spicier.
Yeah, and also this map select was interesting as well. Bind was played only twice in VCT Stage 2 for Bleed at all.
Yeah,
it was 50-50.
They don't like it.
Yeah, not their favorite. And then on the opposite side, Haven, which is map number 2, played 11 times for Bleed. So a lot of either going with the flow or going against the flow here for Bleed in the early portions. We get into
semua wakil Indonesia kalau bisa ketemu lah di semi dan
really
final.
For me as well is that Lenny is also used to be that Sova dedicated player. Sometimes he flexes a little bit, but of course with Fade coming into the meta, we're seeing a new Bleed here basically.
Again, I always love it. The new players wearing the tag.
Yeah.
So Bleed Redla.
Bleed Redla. I'm new here, by the way.
Hey guys, nice to meet you. As and kicking things off, Prowler going to get a little bit of information as be the early focus, but no full committal so far for Bleed on attack.
Yeah, and Darion's on that Raze as well. Normally we see him on the Jet. That's kind of like his signature. But of course on Bind,
sabar banget
teams prefer running the Raze. You know, sometimes there's the Yoru, Paper X, but Raze is the duelist of choice on this map, and it looks like it's going to be a slow start for Bleed, which is kind of their signature. They go for that slow and then sudden explosion into the site, just as we're seeing right now. There's a trailblazer as well, and Shorty reloaded. Has to rendezvous out, Digon.
Rendezvous to safety. Nice.
Dapat satu, masih dapat satu. Nice.
Does a decent amount of damage that allows the cleanup to come through, and the spike has been planted. A already taken. The Shorty not going to land right there, so Darian forced it back on off. Oh, paint shells. It's covering up. Retla has to get out there. He gets finished off as Delby picks up the kill.
Headshot. Exluvia. Nice, Exluvia.
Goes down. Where's the rest of the team on the defense? It's over in A main. One in shower. Shots coming on through. Lenny trying to hold the corner. The Frenzies picks it up, and now it's a 1v1. You love to see it when pistol rounds come down to this. It's just a quick tap. No information for Delby.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, Delby.
Oh no.
Oh, and Maxi
Satu
picks
kali
it up.
lagi,
He's
anjir.
Mr. Clutch here for Bleed, and they get the pistol round win after a slow start.
Looked a little bit messy with the aim there because of the gravity well. He was shaking. He was shaking on that spike.
But just with that, Bleed taking the early lead. I like how you set that up. Bleed, a team that likes to go slow, get the information as much as they can, and then decide and explode onto a site.
Yeah, they like doing that. They keep doing the same thing. It's always Lenny setting up Darion to go in, a little bit of the support, a little bit of the smokes coming in. With this lineup as well, I think the most important part is you have two controllers, and you have the Fade to give that information for behind the smokes, allowing Darion to shoot through the smoke and get information past the smokes that you normally wouldn't get.
Well, the buy up here for Bleed. Picking up a Vandal and just a full save for the opposite side for Alter Ego. They're going to save and play for this round too, unless they can find an early Thrifty in this one.
Yeah, it looks to be difficult as if you take a look at Bleed's buyout, actually, Darion and Maxi have already bought Vandals in this round, so they're investing deep into this round. They're expecting to make it out of this round with at least 3 players alive to carry it over to their bonus round to really give Alter Ego a run for the money in round number 3.
Yeah, we saw a couple of shorty plays over in Lamps earlier. Not the case here. Classics for everyone on Alter Ego as the execution onto A has been started. Both Nebulas blocking off the back part of the site. Axelovia has realized it and backs a little bit further up in showers. They still don't know that Vandals are in the hands of the opposite side as the only kill was picked up with a Spectre.
Yeah, nothing has been revealed just yet, and there's nothing that AE have in their pockets. It's all classics. They're electing to really full save here, so they're going to try their best to get as many kills as they can. I think the most dangerous part of this map right now is Lamps, where they seem to be exercising.
Yeah, Pith really likes that corner. It works out the quads again.
Yeah,
we're going straight to quads in the second round of this one.
Yeah, but with the classics, they're not even peeking. They just want to go for the exits here or die to the spike. They don't want to give the ultimate orbs. They don't want to give the creds.
Love it.
Which is why they're just standing there and they're just all 4 of them are planning to run into the spike. This is absolutely magical. But Alter Ego have planned this. They knew what they were doing. Look at this. 4 of them just died to the spike. No extra creds. No extra ultimate charges for you.
All right. Well, again, they realized we did not have the gun advantage here, so if we're going to get a kill, it has to be them peeking into us. We're not too worried about the round. We're more worried about the economy. And so Bleed get themselves 2 rounds, no casualties, and it looks like their early buy-up paid off.
Yeah, two Vandals and a Bulldog. Normally, at most, you do 2 rifles coming into this round. I think this is an absolutely stellar buy from them, especially if they can convert to kills. They can make it so expensive for Alter Ego. Looking at their economy, they have all at least 2.7k each, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, opposite side, the most they have is 200 credits on Kush as they defend yet again. Bleed pushing in through Hookah. And now have gained a little bit of space, not too much action yet up long. It is 3 members, about to be all 5 members inside Hookah, as one Sky Smoke comes down, guiding light, ready and in the hands of Retla, the new member. As now Alter Ego sending 1, 2, 3 members up long, and there it is. Maxi was ready for it, picks up one, has information that Kush is pushing around, but the site is left completely unoccupied, and so Bleed will get themselves the plant, but information on where they're coming from long.
Yeah, it's easily too long, that's for sure. They're going to get sandwiched, so I think Bleed want to push the spawn, actually. They're taking a look at their positions. They've made it so that they can't be sandwiched. They're playing elbow. They're playing that long haul so that they can take the fight to them instead of getting sandwiched. There's 1, there's 2. Last 2 left. 4v2 right now, and it looks like Bleed just might convert this bonus round. 3v1. They're not even peeking. They're just toying with their food right now. Whiffs here and there, and Pith gets the headshot.
Berat
Bleed.
buat
This is the conversion of the bonus round.
Mainnya udah bagus tadi, maunya AE cuma.
Yeah, that's a lot of money on the side of Bleed. As we called out, only
Kagak
200
di-smoke
creds
ininya,
on the side of Alter Ego at most. And so now, like,
Elbow,
this ego buy, half buy kind of situation, to Bleed sitting pretty.
Kepus
Only
3
losing
orang
2.
langsung mati.
The only thing that could have been scary there is on the site. possibly, I think it was Lenny that was on the site with the Bulldog.
Yeah, he was the only one standing there.
If he died early, then maybe you're in a panic, but otherwise the triple peek down long across elbow, smart play pays off, and Bleed in full control of this early part of this map.
Exactly, that's what I wanted to say. We're in round number 3, but you could see the discipline that they have. You could see that they're firing in all 5 cylinders already. They look like they're playing on the 3rd or 4th game of a best-of-5 grand finals. That's how it looks like right now. They're moving very tight. And on the other hand, Alter Ego, something to note though, we saw this yesterday, they're Alter Ego. So I would be scared of this.
And also, we were wondering if Order and Alter Ego as our 2 victors from yesterday playing today would have momentum. Bleed says none of that. We're showing class. Every time we have a gun advantage, we play slow. We're playing long lines that don't allow for surprises, and then forcing Alter Ego to make a bet on which site they're going to go to. And this time, Alter Ego still 3 on A, 2 on B, and now making the rotation off. They will be rotating the Brimstone over.
It looks like there's a read. Yeah, the Brimstone already rotating over, but it doesn't matter because Bleed are already pushing onto the site. They already found 1 kill. They've already put the smokes down. They've taken control over the front half of the site.
Yeah, Pith took the teleporter back on over to B, but no fake there. Sheriff headshot not going to land. There's 1 trade as Delby picks up 1, but still so many left alive. Axelavia peeking and gets his head ripped right on off. Now it's just a Dern King over in spawn. He sees Darian. Will he line it up? No, he won't. And Darian, one of the top 10 damage dealers in all of the APAC region, shown off exactly why.
Terbaca terus.
I think that for the side of Bleed, they've been living with so many members alive for every round that they win.
Giving presence
really
DB langsung ke
they just keep rolling the creds over Maxi's almost max.
Yeah.
And on the side of Alter Ego, their economy is hurting so much that if they lose this next round, it's just going to hurt yet again. So this timeout is really good because they can full buy this time, and they need to figure this out against Bleed.
Yeah, Bleed has just been playing slow. We haven't seen Alter Ego get aggressive and try to get any wraparound, make the map smaller so that they can get the numbers advantage yet. So maybe they'll do that in this round where they have guns, where they have Vandals to answer back. But so far, it has been all Bleed at their own pace as well. A lot of the time, you'll see teams that are winning just adjust well. This isn't adjustment. This is them saying, this is our strategy. Are you better than us? Answer so far 4-0.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I think that Alter Ego, they are respecting Bleed quite a bit.
Maybe too much?
Yeah, maybe too much. I was going to say that. Because they're not pushing out for that information.
Correct.
And they're waiting to receive Bleed. We know they're a burst team. We know that they're just going to set up and run over a site after an X amount of time. We don't know what it is, but you need to get information before that. And I think Alter Ego are afraid of the default that Bleed is running. They're afraid to lose members. They're afraid to take the duels. And I think that might be something that they need to change.
Well, I alluded to it earlier. Darian in the top 10 in terms of average combat score. He expanded out to the top 20. 2 more names joined that list. Surprisingly, they're both on Alter Ego's side. It's Delby and Kush. See if they're able to answer here as round number 5 begins. And more of the same. It's slow information gathering for Bleed. This time, no one at B, more on A. Let's see if they run into anyone as Toxic Green up, coming down soon. Trademark destroyed.
Nice.
Oh, and the lineup happens here for Noxy. Not able to get the next one, so it is a 3v3 so far. Seekers have been dropped. Kush doesn't realize Maxi's on the flank quite yet. Very focused on the side retake, and that's going to be great timing. Maxi missed a couple. That's okay. We didn't see that. A Dern King and Axelavia from CT starting to push on up to the site, but the bomb was not planted. The rotate works out really well, and it's not only the kills, but the fake out from Bleed.
I think Maxi is one of the players that's very known for how he lurks and how he finds these openings that when so much trouble is caused by Darian on the side, Maxi will come down that even further because he's coming from the side, he's coming from the back,
Heaven
he's
sama
coming in from
splitnya,
everywhere. You don't know where he's coming from. And he's normally on that Omen, he's on this
Malaysia,
Singapore,
split sama Heavennya sih sama
1v3 and he seems very lost.
Again,
Pepper kalah di split kalau nggak salah, kalau nggak salah itu kalah di
splitnya. Every corner across the whole map to see.
Maxi might be there.
This dang guy Maxi's just hanging around here, ruining my day. There he go. He got him in astral form. And he's like, all right, that's good enough.
Yeah, he got a kill. He needs to save it. He has...
Oh, Retla walking into it. There's the blind. And yeah, he wins the blind battle. But now Lenny knows. Lenny lines it up. And a Dern King. He does get the kills. We do know that Bleed are rich. They're fine. They'll be able to buy back on up, but it's 5 rounds now in the book for Bleed, and it's kind of weird that we're counting this a round loss where 4 members of your team die, a small victory here for Alter Ego.
Yeah, it is a small victory, you're right, but at the same time, Adren King, the rest of his teammates can't buy this round. Saving that Vandal is kind of like, well, it hurts.
Yeah.
Right? You're with a big gun, your teammates can't really help you out with that. They have the Sheriffs though, and I think that Alter Ego just need to really tweak something. You need to find the information, so you need to find the early trades to stop Bleed in their tracks. They tried to do that just now. Chamber, Noxy teleporting out. Wasn't able to find anyone, but Kush gets the first headshot. We're not seeing it right now as we're hovering over. We'll be there soon.
Yeah,
it looks like a showstopper from Darion is going to come out.
It looks like he's looking in towards Lambs. Did he find anyone? I don't think so. And here we go. The site has been attacked. Spike has been planted. Delby is able to pick up one. And Alter Ego with 2 members still left alive. The 2 lurkers from Bleed coming up soon. One in heaven goes down. So it's just Maxi left alive. He does get the stun out. Where's Maxi coming from? He's holding get right box, trying to shoot through it, and he saves the round. Bleed get the victory. It's expensive, but they want to collect those round wins. It's 6-0.
Yeah,
what was that, anjir? Observer, tolong.
Observer,
Observer mabuk ketiduran observernya. Biasanya observer ada 2 kan.
This lineup is actually working very well. For all five members are just finding the kills, finding the right places. We haven't even seen Pith pop off yet. We've seen so many of that in APAC. They don't need to. He doesn't need to do anything.
Udah bagus itu tadi.
Maxi's doing it.
Sayang banget.
That's good enough. Also, another showstopper goes wide here on Bind. We saw many of them yesterday. Darion not landing his, but at least Delby landed his. So, Raze players, you're still okay right now as we go into round number 7. More of the same. Let's go ahead and set this up. Noxy, I don't think Noxy saw Maxi get to the opposite side, and the battle of the Xyz goes to Maxi on this one.
Maxi is probably the sneakiest player in APAC. Like, just jump through in that smoke. He knew that there would be a tour de force waiting behind it. Finds the kill because Noxy was scoped down. It's his sneakiness that just decimates defenses so much.
And a play like that where you get read like a book, you know that the ultimate is up, you know that tour de force is sitting in showers, and you're like, okay, this is it. This is my round. This is time to pop off, and you just immediately read. Feels bad. Feels very bad.
Yeah, it doesn't do well for confidence. And right now it's going to be that Bleed execute yet again. Darion going in. Does not find anyone though.
Nice.
It's going to be there for the kill.
Dipotong. Delby berani maju ke situ dia.
3v4 right now. Kush finds yet another kill through the smoke this time around. There's the
nice.
Finds a kill.
Ini lih yang dibutuhkan. Nice.
Just not enough to do
udah kebaca. Mereka seneng banget soalnya ke A. Habis faking B ke A, give impression B ke A.
It's about time slowing them down on the push. As you said, the key to Bleed is their explosive push once they decide to go onto the site. It gets slowed by multiple different things, and it gives Alter Ego, who we know has good guns, they've got great hands, they're able to slow it down and pick up the victory.
Yeah, they finally got that first round that they've
paling nggak harus 6-6 sih ini.
Susah banget sih 6-6 tapi
they finally mungkin 8-4.
Noxy's hands this time around. Will that be effective? We'll have to see because they've always found a way to take this operator out of his hands.
All right, so Bleed didn't find success at A. Let's go on over to B. They clear out Hookah, fully clear, and Darion's like, okay.
Udah, mereka kasih pressure lagi ke B, kemudian biasanya lari ke A.
What we want to do on this side, Pith joining in, and Maxi
ini mau di-strike ini guys. Di flash duluan.
I see some doubt on the side of Alter Ego. They were about to rotate the raid.
Oh, miss. Nice, Axeluvia.
Darren tried to go in, but Axel was going to be there.
Nice, Adrian King.
Finds Maxi though. The spike is going to go down to Seekers.
Flash.
Gonna help them.
Nice, dapat lagi. Satu lagi. Nice. Let's go.
Last one standing. He has the Viper's Pit, but he might have got it.
Hampir aja.
Behind him as Noxy takes him down. The Viper's Pit did not cover him fast enough.
Awkward banget itu tadi.
There we go. He was out of charges until the very end. You know what else was out of his charges? Some of the bullets that he had locked into the sniper, into the operator. I think that was 4 missed operator shots there by Noxy. I think he had one on Darion, one when they jumped outside, and then missed that open back there by Pith. And I'm wondering if That's some of the leftover tilts from the round before when he had the tour de force. It got read like a book. He does able to make up the play, but what a huge flash here by Adren King.
Yeah, just Viper's Pit, I think he was expecting to be safe from elbow. Just had his back towards that, didn't want to go into pit right away. It's one of those things where sometimes you cast it, you walk back, and then you walk back in so that you kind of get the jump onto them.
Right.
And you didn't expect someone from behind him.
No, definitely not. I also like that it kind of gives us as viewers an idea where you don't have complete information as a player, but they have to make a decision. They're like, Pith in this one saying, I have to assume no one's behind me so I can play this correctly.
Exactly.
So even before you even get to shooting and reactions, he was wrong on that guess. And so it's now 2 rounds here for Alter Ego. Very needed. And now, opposite side, Bleed. Finally running out of credits. This is an important round for them.
Exactly. So they have some light armors. They have a Bulldog on Maxi. Definitely hurting a little bit, but they still want to push the envelope here because they still want to take it to Alter Ego. They went for the timeout. They feel like, okay, we can still do this. But the last 2 executes that they've had were stopped in their tracks by Alter Ego. With differing styles too. So on the A side, it was a stop head on. On the B side, it was a slight stop into a retake or stop them as they're planting. When Adren King actually pushed up forward there, he just got the timing right, and I think Alter Ego are starting to feel it.
Yeah, and remember, Adren King got the kill on Maxi, who was the late lurker, would help out the rest of the team. Here we go, quick peek. Maxi tries to find it, not quite able to, and now the site being aggressed upon. A is open as 2 members pull out his showers. Maxi on the flank gets caught by Delby. The TP's hurt, so they know at least 2 people are coming from showers. And now the TP on over to B, so Bleed with an immediate call, and they catch Alter Ego napping.
This quick decision-making from Bleed should net them quite a bit of time. They can get the spike down. They'll probably burn and shave 10 seconds off the clock. On the other side, Alter Ego are running towards B this time. They're trying to sandwich Bleed, and this is where Bleed's post-plants become very important. Can they hold this?
Oh, elbow play as we trade out ulties. They're in looking down long. That's the trade down to 2 HP. Orbital Strike lands on nothing at the edge of elbow. Noxy able to pick one up. Darien answering back.
Nice.
Only 1 left alive though, as it does look like it's going the way of Alter Ego. Quick headshot here. Double peek and it lines up. Alter Ego do it yet again. They line up in front of each other in the double peek, and it's a hero play by the Captain Myth, finding the victory there.
Oh my god, it's the exact same thing that happened yesterday. They swung out too much together. They stuck together too much, and Pith finding that 1v3, that was not supposed to happen. That smoke was supposed to hide them and save them from the bullets, but instead they both peeked out. Pith was able to connect on the triple kill.
Oh dear.
Oh no, man.
Right. Well, Alter Ego, at least you could string 2 rounds together, but to have it happen that way, the same way that it happened yesterday against Cerberus, doesn't feel great. Those were 2 standout lineup moments. It almost happened earlier with Maxi lurking back at spawn. They didn't get punished there, but this time happens early on in a pretty key round that would
udah selalu gitu mainnya, mereka lihat tuh.
Alter Ego in a half buy
template banget mainnya Bleed.
They're not great for economy either because they lost too many members there. Pith watching the flank, finds one, finds a second one as well. He's still feeling it. That's 5 in a row for him now. 3 from the previous round. A double this time, and it's starting to look very good for Bleed. On the side of Alter Ego, some of them have actually bought a Hero Vandal Kush, trying to salvage this round. He's walking out of A. He might just engage on Pith very soon.
Oh, yep. He's able to find one. Oh, that's a bad time to pull out his skill. Shoots out the haunt and then gets
semua di situ udah dapat info, masuk dia. 2 di sono, udah di sono, udah nggak ada.
Don't realize it's wide on open, but they'll get the plant down in just a little bit as the last 2 members from Alter Ego rotate through CT.
Udah ketahuan.
It's just very painful for them right now because we're closing in on the last round of this half, and Alter Ego, they seem to have not found a solution just yet, and they're just dying left and right because they just can't find an inch. I think Bleed just take too much map control for Alter Ego to set up, to find the kills, to set each other up.
Dry pick gitu yang nggak perlu aja.
In this case, Alter Ego did push out A short to try and get some information.
Kalian harusnya paham tuh, gak usah di situ lagi terus, kayaknya selalu di B anjir, ditaruh di B.
This time they tried to get back, they just got punished.
Still hasn't worked, and they didn't have the guns in that round. This time they do. I think this is the important one because this is the round that dictates whether they go 4-8 or possibly 2-10.
Right. You lose this one, it's going to hurt a lot. You see the scoreboards right there. Kush and Delby still having a good performance, but right now it's a team effort across the board for the top 3 players for Bleed. As we start here in Showers, Boombot into Boombot. Haunt gets a little bit of information there. The TP has been taken behind 2 players, and now they're stuck. Here it goes. Does he get it out? Yes, he does, but Retla gets the kill first. They know another one's there. Delby tries to shoot it on through, able to trade out Lenny.
Nice.
And now it's just one left alive.
Gini loh harusnya.
It's Delby.
Tapi 1v2 ya.
Will Delby be able to get himself out? He gets stunned, but does not give off any indication of where he's at. They do have information, though, as Retla is still holding the angle. Retla waiting for them to step closer towards the spike. Here we go. Delby picking to the right, gets shot on the left. And that's the end of the round. Round 11. And as you said, a step closer to 2-10.
This Bleed just look very good right now. We see why they're the top team in the rankings. We've seen why they've gotten so close to beating Paper Rex and Xerxia. They're clearly the 3rd place team, at least from the previous stage 2 playoffs.
Yeah,
they are very clearly right there with the likes of those 2 teams. For Alter Ego, this is where they had to prove themselves, and right now it looks like Bleed are still just a bit too much better.
Yeah. You know, and I think a lot of the time in tournaments, especially LCQs, you want to see the underdog runs, but I love seeing a team that is in that number 1 spot
gini lagi loh setupnya.
with the pressure, with
sama,
everything around them to be the
Sky
number 1
sama
spot. You don't
ininya
have to be
tetap di
perfect,
situ.
but you have the best team out there, and that's what Bleed's playing like right now, and that's huge props to them
sama.
so far.
Dan ini tetap di sini juga dia.
Hopefully we didn't just cast a curse with the monologue, but
habis ini
that's
di-push
what
nih.
it looks like
Nah,
it's going
Pit
towards right
nunggu
now.
di sini terus
sure.
dia.
And it's another pretty broken
mulai
buy for
jalan
Alter
ngasih
Ego.
present
They
DB
can't
kemudian
really
balik
muster up
lagi
that buy. I think
mereka
that's the
strike
story
out.
of this
Lihat
whole
aja
half.
gitu
They
mainnya.
just
Bleed
couldn't bring the creds over and over because they tried some forces. They lost too many members when they won. For the side of Bleed, they don't even need an op for the stacking side. They don't like doing that. That's not what they do. And it works out very well for them. They're playing that slow default yet again. Alter Ego clearly has not found any way to stop this because they're still 3 on A. They haven't found any information. Bleed are playing very slow, but they are still going to take control over this B site. They use the Cosmic Divide to take 1 kill. They're already rushing in. They're bursting in already into this site, and they will find a Dren King this time.
Oh, they're right next to each other. A Dren King has no idea. The Nebula is confusing. They are looking near each other. Oh, it's a panic, and Darian able to win the battle of reflexes. Dren King goes down, and now Noxie has to go through the decay. Gets one, but slayed by the other. Here we go. Noxie trying to win an elbow, and that elbow gets broken right on off. It's Bleed. 10-2. Dominant first half.
Berat buat AE di map kedua ketiganya. Ya udahlah ya.
This strong for Bleed. I did not expect this map to go this well for them. I thought it was probably going to be neck and neck. Like coming to the second half, 6-6, probably end the game like with double digit scoreline. It just looks like Bleed have retooled and found a new combination with the inclusion of Retla coming into this, and they look like a refresh roster.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about agent composition. The extra initiator is now throwing things off here for Alter Ego. Again, that extra initiator nicer on attack compared to defense. Generally, we could say that, but it really has thrown Alter Ego off to the point where I think there's still. Go back to that last round. As the team was walking up B long, Axlavia's crosshair was not. It was like constantly looking at the arch.
Exactly.
By the time he got killed, and in their victory, their guns were working against Cerberus. Yes. We're not seeing that right now.
We're not seeing that at all. It just feels like they're slightly off. Just a step too slow in reading the enemy. Maybe a step too slow in shooting the enemy even. Delby did really well with the showstoppers, was able to really
mereka pengennya dapat momen kayak ini dah jadi. Tapi nggak bisa cuy. Kebanyakan mereka 70%, 80%.
Yeah, and the round
70-80% itu strike-nya ke A daripada ke B.
Nah,
ini juga anjir. Smoke-nya sih
just lining them up and knocking them down.
Ganggu itu tadi malah ganggu smoke-nya.
Execution by Alter Ego and execution by Bleed with minimal resistance.
Really minimal resistance, and Bleed right now, it can be anyone who finds these kills. Darion, he's a player who always goes in first for his team. Sometimes he'll find 2 kills and it'll just be free. Sometimes he'll die, but he will always get traded somehow. Bleed always finds a way to not waste Darian's entry, and I think that's a very signature of Bleed. But on defense,
jauh gameplay secara gameplay.
Bleed's attack is
Ya,
very
mereka
on defense, they've changed. Like you mentioned, Initiator not as great on defense. You don't have that Sentinel to hold or lock a site down. So let's see if Bleed can pull this off. They only need 3 more.
Retlachek, how do you feel like he's done so far before we get into this next round?
Very, very good, because an Initiator has to work really well with his team, especially in terms of coordination to be effective, and he's been very effective as well. Look at this right now. Maxi, oh my god, Redla's pushing out as well. It's some pressure by Bleed. They're not defending, they're the ones attacking this time.
Yeah, now Maxi was checking the flank. Noxy picks up the kill. It's a good time for Delby to come around the corner. He does it, he loses the fight with Maxi, who wasn't looking away. Now it's all up left to Noxy, and the defenders become the attackers, and Bleed take round number 13.
We saw this exact execution from Cerberus yesterday. They tried to do the exact same thing Bleed did here. They fell flat. Alter Ego held there. Bleed was like, no, we'll take the fight to you. And that's because of the execution of their utilities. That Nebula coming out and Darian coming out of the smoke is, surprise, I'm actually pushing.
Yeah, and Axlevy had no idea. I think he had just finished looking down mid and was like, okay, I guess we'll be, oh, I'm dead. They're pushing, guys. Darian gets 2 before getting traded on out, and Bleed now with the guns and only needing 2 rounds are executing very much on the title that they've had, which is favorites.
For Alter Ego, they're actually full saving this round. For a lot of teams, they would like to force before getting put into match point, but Alter Ego, because they didn't get a spike plant, it's almost impossible for them to get a decent buy coming into this round. So Bleed, they have a gigantic gun advantage. Redla finds the first kill already.
And the angles in which Alter Ego found fights, either like that little peek in showers or down long, are some of the most punishing when you don't have the guns or the economy to fight back.
Yeah, it's all classics. And I think they can't just go die to the spike this time around. They're on the attacking side. They have to try something.
All right, paint shells coming through, and this looks like cleanup crew. Maxi gets 1, he gets 2, only 1 left alive. It's Kush and Showers, and there's no more water in there, only dead bodies. It is a flawless round for Bleed. You get your guns now, Alter Ego, but you got to rifle off 11 in a row.
Udah kalah
11 in a row, it's going to be very difficult.
Pilihan mereka lagi.
We've not
Udah aku bilang nih kalau kalahnya di bind di map pertamanya. Ya itu tadi, Heaven sama Splitnya. Track recordnya sih Bleed lebih bagus. Lawannya Pepperex soalnya di Malaysia Singapura.
Momentum's not a thing.
Dan mereka bisa menang.
Bleed.
Tapi itu dengan komposisi yang lalu sih, karena ini kan ada orang baru juga sih. Kita nggak tahu juga.
Final match of the day is here we go. Kush now pulling the trigger to go fast. That really was overwhelming Darian and Maxi, and now you've got the top 2 fraggers down. Here comes around the corner is Lenny, able to pick up 1. Prowler on out, gives a bit of information behind, getting some healing from Retla. The spike will be planted, and it does give time for a lurking Pith to get around, but he's taking a long time, and he gets finished off. Alter Ego on the march for the turnaround, the miracle. 11 rounds, it starts with 1.
Akhirnya mereka main kayak gini aja. Itu yang ditunggu-tunggu sebenarnya mainnya kayak gitu. Dari tadi harusnya dia.
He just held W. It wasn't even Delby that's dueling. Kush is like, I'll take this matter into my own hands.
Tapi kan kita nggak tahu komsnya mereka gimana.
Just pushes forward, takes everyone down in showers as well.
That's what we were expecting. Mengomentasi sih gampang ya. Tapi kalau di posisi mereka pasti
against
susah.
Blade, it wasn't just as effective. So they're gonna have to do that again and again. Like you mentioned, 9 more rounds in a row they had to do that.
Tension.
Yeah, Dirt King with the Trailblazer as well. There was a lot for Darian to shoot. And he got the utility. He did not get the person that was most harmful towards him as he got taken out early over the wall with the satchel charge. And now Bleed pick up 3 quickly like that. Delby picks up a 3rd. And so now, in a blink of an eye, it becomes 2v2.
2v2 on the back of Delby. These are the last 2 that you want to see from Alter Ego, though. Delby and Kush.
Oh, no.
But Redla, what a transfer from Redla! Gets the headshot, gets Delby on triple as well. How does he do that? He's like, I'm new here, by the way.
Dia pakai prowlernya di tempat terbuka.
Hi guys, nice to meet you. We want to win this round or we want to drag it out? We'll take a victory here. Nice spray transfer and Bleed in control this whole map. And they prove why they're the favorites, 13-3. And a lot of it on the back of Maxi, but a lot of it on the back of just the whole team's hands. Great hands here. We're
Lawannya
gonna take a short
Peperex sih
break.
emang.
When we come
Berat
back,
juga.
we'll send it back on over to the
BLD
desk.
ini kan lawannya Peperex.
Defenders win.
(13-3) cuy, statement cuy. 13-3 itu statement. Maksudnya kalau mereka lebih baik, bagus. Soalnya nggak kelawan tuh 3 loh. Cuma dikasih 3 round. Oke. Nutup pintu dulu kan gitu. AE is not looking good. AE. AE is not looking good. Kus kurang ganteng hari ini. Biasanya kan kalau di komentator Indonesia Kus ganteng ya.
Dari deal damage start Alter Ego, mereka bukan lagi dalam kondisi terbaiknya untuk menghadapi Bleed Esport di map yang pertama dengan headshot percentage yang beda-beda tipis memang, walaupun deal damage ada sedikit jauh. Frag win 11-2 dan objective win 2-1. Ini menurut gua sebenarnya nggak banyak detail yang dibawain sama Bleed Esport di map bind attacker terutama. Ini seperti default mereka main 2 controller aja. Mereka kuasain arah A short, tutupin pakai poison cloudnya diambil, Yohola udah di shutdown, kiri kanannya udah mulai perang, showernya ketarik ke belakang, mereka ambil lebih dalam lagi sampai ke arah Yoho, pindahin poison cloudnya, mainin line up, mainin utility, post plan selesai. Tapi overall yang benar-benar gue lihat perbedaan begitu mendasar adalah cara nembak. Ini nembaknya udah satu-satunya poin besar yang bisa dibahas dari match yang ketiga di map yang pertama, tembakan. Ini sekarang Alter Ego punya waktu 3 menit gimana caranya mereka bisa untuk ngereset tembakan mereka untuk menghadapi map yang kedua, karena peluang masih ada menurut gua. Peluangnya ada lebar banget. Ini open ending untuk Alter Ego maupun Bleed Esport.
Yes, dan
split sama ini adalah udah ku bilang
itu adalah map pilihan dari Bleed. Tapi sebelum kita memasuki map yang kedua, kita akan break terlebih dahulu teman-teman semua. Jadi jangan kemana-mana, tetap stay tune terus di
mereka break, kita balik lagi. Sial.
Fast and clean game brought in by Bleed. Welcome back to the VCT LCQ 2022 APAC. I'm Tajwani alongside Kremer as well as Pavlos. We're gonna break down what happened in that landslide of a bind map.
I said if they can reel Darion, if they can utilize him properly, they're gonna be unstoppable. I thought they would do well. I didn't think that well, Pavlos.
Wait, hold on.
That was pretty good.
Me and Pavlos had a conversation.
Yes.
Okay, I'll let you do the analysis.
So essentially, you're gonna have to remind me which one of the conversations it was, because we had a few of them. But essentially, what my thoughts were in regards to this match was that there were a few kind of thoughts around this, right? It was either going to be sort of Alter Ego kind of gaining some momentum early, or completely falling flat if Bleed take their kind of their tempo in their way. Yeah. Well, it was the latter, wasn't it? As soon as Bleed were online, it seemed like Alter Ego never had a hand on things, and like every single one of these players had a potential of either having a clutch moment or either coming through with a big play, and you know, it never seemed like there was a side of that team that was lacking.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw the game, it really looked like a very confident Bleed. It was a very early force buys, and you know, when you are forcing those early force buys, it really shows how confident you are in getting those kills, in making sure that that conversion comes through. For now, the points, 13-3, as we know, very heavy landslide, but the comparison between Darion and Del B is just so...
berat hidupnya.
Wow.
What's actually quite interesting is there aren't many kills that separate two of them. Actually, Delby boasting a higher ACS, which means to me it wasn't just Darion there. That was the entire cast of Bleed. Every single player stepped up. Every single one was able to deliver. And you know, it's like easy to say, hey, Lenny had kind of a quiet game. I think he didn't have any rounds for him to do anything in. Absolutely dominant.
That's what you said.
Yeah, I mean, Tash, she asked me earlier on, right? If he wasn't performing, would that mean that Bleed will fall flat? And what I said was, you know,
turun kalah, menang
they
lagi.
wouldn't fall flat.
But maybe
it would have been a closer match, but it still would have been Bleed's map to win, because quite frankly, they had a lot of sort of support in getting those kills, whether that was kind of double backing on that entry or it was essentially those clutch moments, and they had all of it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, you can see how Darion was enabled as well, thanks to Lenny's haunt. But for now, let's have a look at the next map. We're going to go straight to Heaven, the 3-site map. And what's really interesting is that this map is Alter Ego's pick. And for some reason that I've seen, a lot of Indonesian teams actually really like Haven as that map.
You're right. It's actually Bleed's pick.
It's Bleed's pick, but it is an Indonesian favorite if you think about it. Yeah.
What's interesting to me is that with Bleed playing mainly Bind and Haven in this veto, we said they need to do it in 2 bites. In order to take Bind so convincingly, amazing for them. I think regardless of this first score, Haven's probably going to be much closer. I think that Alter Ego starting from 0 very well could benefit from the little break we're having now. The one thing that is going to weigh on my mind though is if Bleed can stay consistent.
Okay, so I have a question for Pablo. So before this, Breed's lineup actually had Lexi. So Lexi was their dedicated Breach player, and you have seen how much impact his Breach can bring, especially on Haven. Now with Alter.
Kalau Aussie lebih ke di ini.
Redla. Oh my God, what is wrong with me?
Alter?
No, yeah. Redla.
It's Redla, yeah.
Yeah, now with the Redla
Apa itu namanya?
the lineup,
Aussie
how
lebih
do you think the
disingkat-singkat.
dynamic can change, and what can make
Anehnya
it
Aussie
stronger
itu
than what they had before?
So the initiator is a really important kind of role to have,
dan
but I
mereka
still
punya
don't think it's
kata-kata
going to change
sendiri.
it as much to kind of drop
Biasanya
Bleed's
New Zealand
Bleed's
TV.
performance on this map in particular, right? I mean, we're talking about a map that they've been very, very strong with, and there's a reason why they picked it as well. I mean, if you look at their matchup against Exertia, most recently, I guess it's been a while now, but yeah, it's probably one of the most recent matches they've had on it. They kept a close score of 13-11. Yes, they did lose it at the end, but we're talking about a different caliber of team, right? Exertia is already locked into that spot to represent APAC in the international stage, and we're talking about an Alter Ego that looked shaky even when they did get a win in the previous stage. So now we're coming into this as Bleed. I don't think they'll be switching up too much of their comp, even though they've got a change in one of those players. I still think he's a reliable asset to this team, and it's not really going to change the outcome of it.
Yep. For now, we're going to be going. Let's see if this change with Redla in, Lexi out, will they have a big impact than they haven't before, or will be going to a game 3? That's the question. I'm going to pass it over to our caster. We have D-Gon, who's D-back as well as Key. So my question to you guys, what do you think the outcome will be? 2-map or 3-map?
I think it'll be 2-map, but Alter Ego need to practice not lining up when they do a 2-man peek against an opponent.
I love that.
Same exact thing happened yesterday, and they did it again, and it was the same team, and I know you might be tired of that take toss back, but
If it happens again for Alter Ego in the lower bracket, we're going to do it again. Or if it happens again in this match and they win, we're going to do it again. Because we got to stop doing it. It's the same team.
They really have to. I mean, we've seen so many teams do the double peak properly. It's a really important part of the kit. And to see Alter Ego do that blunder repeatedly over and over again from yesterday to today, it just goes to show, okay, need to tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit there. Also, Tash, I have a question for you. If you buy on an Eco and it shows your confidence, then what were Alter Ego showing? Were they very confident? Because they kept buying on a lot of Eco rounds. They just weren't able to become Alter Eco. They ended up just dying there and not having any credits compared to Bleed that had anything and could buy anything. Maybe like 5 cars in your garage, 50 cars in your garage.
50 cars. Yeah, I like that. I like that. You gotta have a big garage too. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I have to have a big house with a big garage and something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I'll buy an esports team.
Yeah, but for okay, look, this is standard.
Yes.
Take a look at Bleed. This is what I expected. This is like comfort pick for everyone of their players. Yeah, Maxi on the Omen. Okay, we kind of pan out there a bit, but we'll see it. Killjoy, I think that's Redla on the Killjoy. Right?
Yeah, it should be Redla on the Killjoy.
Tapi itu line up yang kemarin kan. Aku balik lagi.
There you go. He's back to that Sentinel role.
Line up kemarin sekarang kan ada pemain baru di Bleed. Akan lebih bahaya lagi. Atau mungkin malah bumerang
on
buat
the side
mereka.
of Alter Ego, this is what we've seen from them yesterday as well. The exact same lineup. Kush on that Sentinel 2. It was so effective against Cerberus, but against Bleed, let's see.
And Delby on the Neon as well. Let's see if the pace is there, but they've got to get past the defense onto the attacking side without too big of a deficit. As we kick things off, Bleed pushing on through Garage, and we'll walk right on through the Cyber Cage into a smoke. Nice little play there by Darian to take space on the site. Blinded, but Axe loves you. Answers a couple of kills. There's Pith trying to get the answer back. And he does, and Bleed take the site in the blink of an eye. Pith getting a third, only one left as Delby, the last one alive. It is a lot of damaged health bars though. Tries to get one on Maxi, and that's all she wrote there for Alter Ego. Bleed, 1-0 in the pistol round.
Pith actually got 4 kills off that. We were talking about it. It doesn't matter what agent he plays, he will find those kills. And he's doing his job. He goes for the stun, goes for the flash, supports his team, supports Darius to get in first, and then swings out for him as well. That's exactly the player that Pith is, and that's why Bleed look very strong.
So Alter Ego,
jadi Ex-Luvia belum
very
di
much similar to
posisinya
last
dia
time. Losing pistol rounds, now gotta find answers. And they have to do it
dia masih mau jalan tadi.
And we're able to find some answers on Ecos, but this time only a frenzy being bought.
Yeah, against Bleed, these cheeky Ecos don't work as well. I think they're respecting Bleed that way. You're not buying that much for these rounds. You're not forcing it because Bleed are gonna punish you.
Turret shows and Maxi lurking finally goes wrong there for him. Will donate over a gun once they get to it.
That's a bulldog.
It's a bulldog in the hands of Kush. Again, Kush quite potent and had a couple of pop-off moments yesterday as Lenny gets the plant down on towards A. And I think there's only one lurker. It's Redla down in Tours, down in A lobby. So a de facto 5v3 right now on the site.
Yeah, let's see if they can hold. They do have the guns. Lenny only has a ghost though. They have some utility to use as well. There's the aftershock. Let's see if they actually going in with the guiding light starts off.
Udah bagus yuk.
Just not enough to land.
Udah bagus banget.
Finds 1 kill though as Pith trades. Redla gets 2. Delby gets 1 as well. It's all down to Delby, but he gets destroyed by Darian, who gets 2
udah
quick
bagus banget tuh
with
tadi
the Vandal. They're carrying it over to the bonus round again.
Noxy tadi udah bagus banget flashnya. Sayang banget dia nggak dapat kill.
Because he's taken hard head to a whole nother level. It looked like he got headshot 3 times with the right click of a classic, but still stayed alive and was able to trade out after he's completely blind on this drop down. And then Darian cleaning things up, as you said, with the Vandal, no problem after losing the Bulldog earlier and Bleed with the 2-0 lead.
Those Vandals really come into play here on this next round. If you take a look at Bleed's economy right now, they're actually full buying this round. They want to reset Alter Ego right away.
They'll have a half buy for everyone if they lose. Alter Ego will not have much money if they lose. Again, everyone on 250 at most, so what is it? It's a total of 350 credits across all 5 players, as Garage is the play. 3 members currently on A side for Alter Ego, so the fake push into A paid off. Kush trying to get 1, he gets 2, he gets 3, and now Bleed with the bad lineup as Redla is able to trade back.
but the lineup master Kush gets a fourth. The ace possible, but Neuro Theft leads to a theft of life as he gets shot in the back. And now it's up to Maxi. Pick up the spike and do something with it. Delby inside the dark cloud. Dark cover, there we go, sorry.
Right here.
As Delby, he's very patient and Maxi and him just go right on by Garage, and now Maxi working his way on over to A. This is some good movement here by Maxi.
Yeah, and not just that, this is exactly the way we take a look at Maxi. Right, he's sneaky. And this is the perfect round to encapsulate that. He's the last one remaining. He went through C, was able to take the spike, snuck between everyone, finds yet another kill. This is exactly the Maxi show. He's going to be able to sneak left and right. He's going to sneak behind you, going to sneak in front of you, find the kills anyway. But Delby, just as fast. Got that neon speed. Oh my god, what is going on here? Alter Ego has some beef with Bleed.
I don't mind it though. You need any kind of advantage that you can get right now, and they didn't have any advantage in terms of the scoreboard, but you'll take a little bit of mental advantage there as Maxi almost pulled that one out of the hat. A concussed shrouded step, not so good. As the plant almost went down, they almost got the extra money. It would have been nice, but now Bleed on this weird half eco buy, not full armor, not full guns type of situation.
Yeah, they're really forcing it, and I think that's a little bit of that. We mentioned confidence, right? If you're forcing things. And I think that Bleed are, well, disrespecting Alter Ego right now. But at the same time, I think they recognize that Alter Ego also don't have a complete buy because they lost 3 members. That's 1 Guardian and 1 Spectre on them. So actually, this is pretty close in terms of their bias.
Oh, Kush has the jump on Darian. Darian still hasn't been punished yet. Lenny's able to help on out underneath Hell. Noxy sends it there as Pith answers back 4v3 onto the site. The plant comes on down. And a slow rotation this time by Alter Ego to A.
Very slow rotation. They still have the utility to buy time as well as Lenny finds another kill with that Guardian. They still have the utility on Pith as well to just make some space here. 4v2. Maxi only has a, I believe that's a Sheriff, but it doesn't matter as Axelovia finds the first kill with the Guardian. Redless there for the trade. Delby jumps down, gets taken down by Pith. He expected that.
Yeah, and it's tough. Axelovia had the information. He knew one was held because the aftershock got shot at him. He heard the shots around the corner, but again, still got lined up by the phone line. Could only shoot at a certain pace. Gets taken down. Bleed takes the round back, and the economy not fully broken for the opposite.
Walaupun ini bisa gitu ya dilalui AE. Splitnya sih balik lagi, split berat lagi.
Bleed did not want them to take any more, just keep resetting them, and that's the confidence coming in, right? We were talking about it. They forced a few rifles. They found a way still. They were able to get onto that side, get a spike down. Pith was able to find the kills. He's the initiator, but he looked like he was initiated in a different way there. He actually initiated by holding W.
So I like this adjustment here by Alter Ego. A lot of utility used by Bleed down A, but no rotation off of it early. Only 2 members there, and a lot of space has already been taken by Noxy, who pushed up to window, but here comes Bleed. They push onto the site, the blind comes through.
Anjir, aku ngikut-ngikut kayak aku yang main asem.
The Marshal, if they want to use it, but he has been tagged. Here comes the Rolling Thunder, dodged wide and then taken down. Finally, Axelovia trading out a couple there, so giving an opportunity for Alter Ego to retake in the form of Noxy, Dern King, and Delby.
There's 3 members left for Alter Ego. That Guardian is going to get the kill. Lenny finds 1v2 right now. Just 2 classics, but all the utility coming in, just stopping Lenny in his tracks, and Alter Ego turn into Alter Ego yet again. They find 2 guns and the round.
I like it a lot. The only thing that they bought was the Marshal by Kush, and it worked out well for them. Again, Alter Ego on this side did not buy the bait early on by Bleed. And I think it's that type of play, trusting their instincts in terms of, do we think this is a fake? Do we think not? Now, on this one, they've now sent on over 3 members over at A, assuming that Bleed going to do something there because C didn't work out. Who knows? We'll see, but I like the fact that Alter Ego are thinking about it on the defensive side.
They're definitely thinking about it, and you're right, it's sticking to your guns. It shows that you still have a read on the situation. You don't react that fast. Okay, they've reset actually to a C defense. Leaving B open. They're already pushing forward. The guiding light first. There's a Hunter's Fury coming out from Lenny. Noxy takes 1 down. The Hunter's Fury has to be cancelled. Lenny getting out of dodge. Darion dashing into the side though. Kush, only one remaining on that side. No, Adren King is there to help as well. Delby comes out. They find all the kills. Lenny's the last one remaining, but Noxy
ini yang dibutuhkan. Alter Ego.
Oh yeah, and this is what we've been looking for from Alter Ego. Your hot guns, Delby, Kush, winning some gunfights here against the top fraggers on the opposite side. Darion not having quite the game that he wants, but still very potent in terms of shooter. Winning that 1v1 goes such a long way for the underdog here, as now a timeout has been called by Bleed.
This is the best situation that Alter Ego has been in the past 2 maps. A tie score. That's unfortunately the best, but they're getting there. This is the map pick of Bleed. That means Alter Ego have figured something out on this defensive side. We were talking about it on the first map. Maybe a little bit too much respect for Bleed, but this time around they are pushing out, they are finding those kills. They even triple peek out of C just to disrupt Bleed's, well, rotations and setups.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they were playing very slow. They wanted Lenny to go for the Hunter's Fury. That was wasted. Lenny doesn't even find that much more in terms of trades. They just got pushed out. And because of that, Alter Ego, their economy is much better now. They reset Bleed, and I think Bleed have to call this time out because they're the ones spooked.
Yeah, Alter Ego, they've got at least 2 buys. Bleed, they can force here, but it won't really have any rifles, so it will just be a couple of sheriffs coming out for Bleed. So good stuff here by Alter Ego. This is closer to the squad that we saw yesterday. Again, it was a 2-0 against Cerberus, but it wasn't a clean 2-0. Some of those rounds were close. I believe it was a 13-10 in map number 1, which was Haven by Alter Ego. So we're used to seeing them have to scrap, have to fight. Was that more indicative of the level of everyone, including Cerberus, or was that just a flash in the pan? We'll find out with round number 7 as Axlovia stepping on up closer. And yeah, that should be an easy pickup. It is, but Delby
dia dapat senjata dong.
Taken down.
Senjata dong.
You got deleted off that share from Lenny. They're still running Darion in. That Blade Storm is very effective. Axel still alive, takes down Redla. 2v4 right now. Lenny and Pit still alive. Adren King takes Lenny down, all down to Pit, who finds a kill though. He's getting sprayed through his smoke, but that's not enough.
No, definitely not enough there. Again, damage done. 2 players taken out on the side of Alter Ego, but Bleed, they've now lost several rounds in a row, and you're starting to see it in the player cams after each round. They're shaking around their mouths. They're shooting down at the dead bodies. You kind of like to see this from Alter Ego.
Yeah, they're feeling it. There's a little bit of a rivalry here. I believe they're probably something with pubs. I'm sure that's happened before. But they definitely have some.
You mean people don't like Bleed? What are you talking about?
No, they have beef. The players have beef, not the orgs, but the players could tend to have beef.
All right. Well, you know what? If you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong. So Bleed have to now step up and answer the call from this really good punch here. Oh, Kakas still picks up a kill. Darion kicking things off. And now Alter Ego getting aggressive. Darion getting punished and does pick up the kill, though, against Delby. Those are the types of rounds that you want to win. And then get another one onto a Adren King. That's 3 kills here for Darion. And one of the top fraggers in all of APAC starts to show up and then get shut down by Noxy. But the damage has been done. Only 2 left alive.
And this is why Bleed worked so well. Darion, even though he was tagged down to 30 HP, doesn't matter. He still held W. In fact, he took 2 more duels, won both of them. That's how effective Bleed are. And I think Redla might be able to find this 1 kill if he sees Noxy's barrel. Looks like they're going to use from the shadows just to try to find more information. Doesn't really find anyone on the side at all. I don't think they know that they're on opposite sides of the wall here.
Waiting for information, and there's some information. Only 1 left alive. It's just Kush. Again, lots of credits, so we'll see if he's able to do any damage, but lots of smokes to walk on through here by Kush. He'll go heaven.
Wah, ini sih impossible cuy. Cypher itu buat.
Yes. He needs more than prayer. He needs to pray for a miracle.
Bukan agent yang self-sufficient kalau
he's been able to convert, but I think on Haven, A side is the hardest one to convert as he tries to jump out the window. Lenny just
nggak bisa nge-flash, nggak bisa ini
both on the crossfire. And so we spent that tactical pause talking up Alter Ego. Maybe they found it, and Bleed answers right on back in the form of Darion, taking those 1v1s in a very impressive fashion.
Yeah, it took 3 scalps off of that. He was under duress. Like, he got stunned. The aftershock was there. He was getting damaged. He had to jump down. Found a first kill. Found a second. Just kept moving forward. Found a third as well. It's just so ridiculous how he's able to get away with that from that round.
And again, Maxi just using from the shadows to gain some information. Wasn't a full okey-doke rotation off of it, but it did secure a pretty important round here for Bleed. Both teams hovering around 2,000 to 3,000 each in terms of credits, so won't be fully broken whoever loses. But it is important at 4-4 Alter Ego. This is the most rounds that they've had in the book. Kush from Heaven, seeing what information he can get. Spy Cam hasn't seen anything yet. There we go. Darian does get tagged as Kush does get shot through the wall just a bit there. Dark cover closing off Heaven, but the plant has been down, and Alter Ego will go into this retake with all 5 members alive.
Redla's the one watching the flank, so right now he's gonna have to face this 1v3 alone. Let's see if he can hold off, and whether his teammates will actually come to help. They don't actually check the corner. This might be dangerous for them. Redla, can you find these kills? One! Finds a second. Almost converts the third, but that's enough for Redla. Lenny is gonna be there to clean up shop, and the rest of Bleed, they know they can hold this.
Oh, Neural, that does go out, so it will be spotted to everyone else. Maxi trying to go to Heaven, will get to Heaven, and picks up the rest of the pieces. 2 more go down, and it's another round in the books for Bleed.
Maxi with a cheeky teleport there to get out to safety, but the one sent to Heaven were Alter Ego. They did not check that corner, and that's the worst part, right? When you're trying to gather information, and it's not just not getting information, but you've given false information to your team that there's nobody in A lobby. Redla pops up, finds 2 kills. It just destroys Alter Ego's momentum.
Man, the Trailblazer, it did a 60-degree turn, not a 90-degree turn, and Redla just hiding in the corner. Don't worry about this big, bright yellow jacket. Nope, no one here, and he picks up 2 kills to close this one off as Delby decides to get aggressive and does use the overdrive, picks up 1 on Maxi and trades up his Stinger for something a little bit nicer in terms of the Vandal, but A site already taken away. They have an idea that Kush is there, and Kush gets collapsed through the wall and take it down.
Yeah. Knowing the angles where you can shoot, really taking Kush out. Adren King though finds 1 kill. They use the Rolling Thunder. It's gonna be a trade, and it's gonna be Axel who finds a triple. Nice. Uses the Orbital Strike and gets a double lineup as well.
All right, Alter Ego using a lot of ultimates there, right? Delby had to use theirs, Adren King used his, but they take it and get a much-needed round win. The credits would have been not so good after that one, but now we got ourselves a nice 5-5, round 11, and I think both teams will be able to buy both rounds. This is nice here by both these squads.
Yeah, it's nice, and if you take a look at Bleed, we always talk about how they don't like buying the operator on the attacking side, but when they do, it's never on Darian, because the plan is for Darian to run in.
Yeah.
It's Maxi holding his op to stop a flank. So that's gonna be really interesting here, because we're starting to see Alter Ego really push out. And I think Bleed recognized that, which is why they're getting this operator on the side of Alter Ego. I think they don't want this momentum to slow down. They finally found another round yet again to equalize. They call a timeout to ensure that at least going to the second half, maybe we go at least even.
Well, a couple rounds ago, I think it was round number 8, when Darian had the pop off the 3 kills on the 3 peaks. That was punishing over-aggression by Alter Ego. And the next 2 rounds, they stayed back a little bit. But think about this round. It all started with Delby pushing straight on through Garage, using overdrive, and picking off Maxi. So
maybe
Alter
it's
Ego,
personal.
Yeah, they got to decide. Do you continue to just hold W on defense and hope to get a pick, or now that you've got yourself a little bit of economy, do we sit back and play? Because Bleed will have an answer here with the operator.
This op feels personal for Maxi. Like, you're trying to flank me. No one flanks the flanker. I have an operator.
The flanker. It would be a little better if he still had from the shadows. But remember, he used that for information on nothing on A.
Yeah.
And didn't even get the plant, so he's not even close to getting it again.
I think he's trying to get going. He has 2 kills. He wants to get this operator. He wants to stop this lurk from happening. They actually have 2 lurk watchers. Sometimes it's Redla, sometimes it's Maxi. That time around it was Maxi. Redla's further down. That operator almost finding that kill. So they know there's an op here on the side of Bleed. For Alter Ego, they haven't really rotated yet. They have 3 members on A, actually. If they go into the C side right now and take Kush down, it'll be really good for them. Oh, Kush gets tagged. Second doesn't come out just yet. There's the smoke coming out. Okay,
Lenny.
The third one hits onto Kush. They use the lockdown as well. Buy a bit more time. There's someone watching the flank. Lenny's going to be there. Finds the first kill.
All right, Lenny with 2, so no pressure coming from C long. It will be through Garage as Delby answers back, picks up the first one. See you later, Mr. Operator. Down it goes, and now through Garage, Doxy trying to get a blind, but does get hit by one of the bots, so now has to walk on through. Nano Swarm preventing any defuse so far. The bot is there, the turret is there. Let's see, Lenny lining up the arrow. Oh boy, there's a lot that Noxie's gonna have to dodge, and he dodges not a bit, but the defuse is going down. A lot of pings onto the spike, shoot on through. Yeah, there is a smoke. Here we go. They're gonna try and get it here. Delby putting his head down, and now the rest of his body goes down. Great execution here by Bleed.
They had so much utility to just stall the defuse there. They had the Sova, they had the Breach stun, they had a Killjoy Nano Swarms coming in. They knew that they could play from long and take the fight to where they're actually standing, and Alter Ego did not have the time to actually flush them all out of there. They didn't even have the manpower to trade for that.
I'm thinking about it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've had too many impactful ultimates so far in this game.
No.
We've had the overdrive by Delby, right, the
kill.
round before, and then this one here, Hunter's Fury by Lenny. That was huge to be able to clear out the site and guess exactly where Kush was.
And Kush, Lenny's one of the best solo utility players in APAC. His usage of utility, his reads, his control over the utility is one of the best, and that's where we actually saw it. Kush getting taken out there was super important because he was the sole anchor for C-Site. Got shoved away, and he's one of the star performers for Alter Ego. We were talking about it.
So here we go. This is yet again another early guess by Alter Ego. They do guess correctly that there are multiple members down A long, so the rotation is through. Brimstone is now on the site. One traded out. Now it's just two. Oh, and Alter Ego pick up a couple of extra one because we had Noxie flanking the flanker. Maxi's going to end the round with not that many kills. He's not going to like that one too much, but Bleed are not done yet. The spike is here with Lenny, who had himself one heck of a round, uses utility, try to clear things out with a couple of shock bolts. The dart for Recon will get nothing, but Lenny continues to push on up. Retla still lurking, knows that someone is behind in the form of Noxie, and now the spy cam catches out Lenny. He's trying to figure out, bait someone out, and now backs on up to the protection of his teammate.
They're going to have to fight in these fights. They're going to have to find 1v1s just to secure this round. 2v4 right now, and I think Bleed, they want to go into that second half with an advantage for sure. So they're going to try their best, but Axel with a Guardian, they're playing whack-a-mole here right now. Nice. Redla finds one, but the second, no.
And that's how you do the double peek. If you slide, maybe that way, one, you're not going to be at the same height, and
one
also
of them
you're
is
going to go
faster.
Yeah. All right, Alter Ego fighting back here, and that was one heck of an entertaining round, 6-6, the closest Alter Ego has been so far in this series. But more importantly, we got to see some life from these players.
Yeah, Kramer called it. Haven would be a much closer map than Bind was, and we're seeing that right now, 6-6 on this map. This is Bleed's map, but at the same time, Alter Ego can play this map as well.
Yeah, we got to see him play it yesterday. Bleed playing it 11 times in the VCT so far. But Alter Ego, I like it. Again, this round, another example of them being proactive without necessarily peeking out and running with their heads cut off. They quickly pushed up A long. They rotated off of C onto A to get the numbers, and it all was because Noxie pushed up mid, got to window, and said, hey, no one is here. You don't see anything C. We're going to guess it's A, and they were correct.
Yeah, and for the two teams, they are playing this game of rock, paper, scissors right now. It seems like they're finding a strat, the other one figures it out, the other one adjusts again. And they just keep trading rounds because at some point we were at 3-3 and now we're at 6-6. So they just found ways to make things happen.
Kush
I think for Bleed, they expected a bit more from themselves.
For sure. Scoreboard here, Maxi all the way at the bottom is a big one, but Darian as well. Think about it, he got the 3K on the one entry. Other than that, he's 2-9, you know? So, again, it's been a lot of Lenny stepping up huge, Pith with a couple of big kills, and then Retla just sitting right in the middle. 11 kills so far for him on the opposite side. And Axe Love Ya Sighting has had a couple of big rounds, including the retake onto A with the triple kill. Kush and then Delby as well, but everyone a little bit closer for Alter Ego.
This is what we want to see from Alter Ego, everyone stepping up, and that's exactly what happened in the first half. But are they stepping up enough? That is a big question right now because it's 6-6. They had trouble against Bleed on the attacking side on Bind.
All right, well, here we go. Will they win a pistol round? Big question here. So far, they are 0 for 3, but they start this one by playing it slow. And Bleed, respectfully, not pushing up too far yet. They haven't made the map any smaller. B is open. but it will be a C push as Maxi taking a couple of peeks there, sees one, saw maybe two, and Darian on your mini-map starting to rotate to the opposite side. Oh, thinks about it, and with the slow push back, they stick to their guns and will sit on A, 3A.
Yeah, they were afraid of Maxi. Once he threw the smoke out there, actually like, okay, we're going A. And I think this might just catch Alter Ego surprised, because they're expecting that defenses might have reset. They're not expecting 3 on A.
All right, well, it's the crossfire in my favorite spot on Haven. Let's see what happens here as Retla gets ready. Oh, the Trailblazer gets one. Concussion on the other side. Very difficult to shoot anything right now, but no kills coming through. Darian able to pick up one. Now Retla trying to get another one. He does trade it on out. Here comes Pith from the opposite side. He trades on up to the Frenzy. 11 bullets, picks it up, and Pith and the rest of Bleed read them like a book.
They were stunned, they were dazed, they were flashed, but they still found a way to
Delby, ngapain dia ngeliat ke belakang? Kan udah ada info 2 orang tadi. Pasti yang satu kan dari atas.
You think Alter Ego were going to push here after all the stuns coming out, but instead, they actually lost 2 members.
Again, it felt like, all right, did we kill him yet? No, we didn't kill him yet. Are we pushing through? No, we're not pushing through. And it just allowed Pith to come on in. The fault line hit everyone. Everyone concussed. And now Bleed take yet another. They go 4 for 4 on pistol rounds. And they sit pretty here in round number 14.
Yeah, these pistol rounds are super important because they really dictate the pace of the game. I think there was a statistic that winning both pistol rounds means that around 80% of the time, your team will win the match.
80% of the time.
Yeah, for 2 pistols.
All right, well, 20% shot here for Alter Ego as Noxy gets destroyed by the shock bolt. That was not fun. As Darian trades that one out, uses Tailwind at the right time, goes blind, backs himself on up. But Alter Ego, this is a pistol round. This is not very fun for them. They are going down the long lines, but they do get Lenny there.
Still has Vandal on Darian, who actually reloads.
Oh no, kagak mati dong.
Though, tagged a bit low. They're still going to try to use the utility to take them out as Pith finds Kush. Redla finds the Dren King. It's all down to Axel, who can't do anything at all. Gets taken out. They only lost Lenny. They still recovered a Bulldog.
Feels bad. 2 good timing opportunities there, but no punishment from Alter Ego. Couldn't find the headshots, don't have, obviously, the right guns, and Bleed get away with a lot there. Could have been a lot worse. That's probably, what, 3 players that could have died instead. Just 1, and so Bleed hold on to their weapons, and they feel comfortable here in round 15. 8-6 is your score. The first full buy here by Kush. No full armor there, just light shields coming the way of Kush.
Something interesting, Darren actually dropped his Vandal for Pith.
Oh, okay. Pith saying, hey, give me that.
Yeah, give me that. I will destroy them for you. And I think it's also a matter of Darian on that Spectre on the Jet is actually pretty good. Oh. They're trading it back. Darian says, oh, no, my turn. Give me the Vandal. You didn't find any kills, bro.
I like that there. Again, this squad has been together for such a long time, living in the same team house for, 6 months, 8 months now, this whole VCT season. And you can see in their play the trust that belongs there as they made a early couple of moves towards A, they rotate towards C, and it's all Pith now forced to defend against Alter Ego, and Noxy gets one. The flanker does not get the other flankers. Maxi picks up the first kill, but Alter Ego gets the plant on C.
They get to upgrade their gun as well from the picked up gun from Noxy. I think Bleed still have a chance here. They're actually going to go back towards spawn side. They're not pushing long.
Everyone going to the opposite sides. All C long for the side of Alter Ego. All
what is the setup?
CT. I have no idea. I cannot wait to be surprised and delightedly surprised by Alter Ego. They are playing so far back. Fault line slowing things down. Maxi getting blasted through the dark cover as Retla answers one. People are just shooting without seeing anyone. Pushing on through is Maxi, but he gets finished off, and Kush able to get 3 kills and close it on off.
GG.
That was very weird.
I
think Bleed had sort of an idea of what to do there. They just
Ikut-ikutan
didn't
tegang.
execute properly. They wanted a deep smoke, push out into the deep smoke, maybe go for half, pressure them into fighting them through the smoke as well. They just could not find a way to, an opening there.
I feel like if Alter Ego puts all 4 players down C long, which they did, the area in which you need to shoot into the
angle.
shadow is so much bigger than the opposite side. If you're running into the shadow, you have nowhere where you need to aim.
I completely agree. It's just they had this. Look at this one corner. It was a firing squad for them, exactly as you said. They even find the one swinging wide on the right side, but I think that Bleed just did not have the proper timing to peek out of that.
Yeah.
But we're seeing Alter Ego actually calling for the timeout here.
You know, again, Bleed had to go clear out Garage, had to go clear out a defender spawn, which they did. And then they realized, okay, everyone has to be long, maybe Cubby. But that did take a lot of time to execute that type of retake, at least. So Alter Ego get themselves a round win. They're going to, as we saw yesterday, they had a couple of rounds where they were winning and took a break. They're like, okay, we're going to pause here so that we can get our nerves back and make sure we have a plan for this round and the next round and the round after.
Yeah, we saw that yesterday, and looking at the economy, Bleed actually have an economical lead because Alter Ego lost a bit too much, didn't really save the gun, so one of them won't have a gun. Or well, it's a Guardian.
Yeah, I guess it's Bulldog here for Noxy. Again, Mr. Flank himself just needs something to slow down Bleed's aggression, and aggressive they will be as Darian does get spotted out. Oh, and has to work his way on back. Nice little utility usage by Kush to prevent aggressive plays, and those were the same types of things that Alter Ego were doing to Bleed in the last half.
That's exactly what they were doing. They were trying to push forward, they're trying to punish. Bleed have not done that much just yet. This is the first, second rifle-to-rifle round in this half after all. But Bleed, they're trying to poke a little bit. They're trying to at least make Alter Ego respect them.
All right, 3A on the setup right now for Bleed. As Alter Ego getting some of the space here. Working their way towards mid. Towards B, through window, no noise yet. You could hear the Trailblazer take out a little bit towards short. And now here we go, fast lane shot on in. Nice orbital strike to prevent the corner, so they know exactly where they're at. They are not anywhere near B. They have to be inside of A. That's the answer as Retlo works his way through and kills the planter. Now Kush getting caught on out. Bleed taking this one back with ease, and now just Noxy, the flanker, left behind, does have the Bulldog. It's answered by the other flanker. I love seeing this battle between Maxi and Noxy. It's Maxi with the win and Bleed with the retake.
Maxi always, when he finds his kills, it's always like, how did he get there? How did he get into that corner? They thought they had control over the site, and then all of a sudden, Maxi is crouching in that corner. Surprise! I've been here all along. He finds the kills, and it just, Kush was unaware. Kush was looking on the right side, got shot through the wall because his barrel was peeking out Max, because he didn't expect Maxi to already be there.
I wish we had player cams right now. That was one of my favorite parts of Stage 2, watching Maxi just stare at the camera every time. But he's like, yes, I did just outplay them. Yes, I knew exactly what I did. And now I will entertain you too. Back to the round.
Yeah, I do love that. That's exactly what he did. After every play, he would just stare at the camera dead on.
Did you see that? Did you see that, Mom?
Did you see that? Yeah. And right now, Bleed, big advantage for them. They have the gun advantage. They have the round advantage. They should be feeling good.
All right, well, here we go. Alter Ego with a very clear A play. Darian able to pick up a couple. Lenny picks up two. The Hunter's Fury ready. And now Axelovia might try to step up and pick up a gun from a teammate, maybe. But Axelovia and Kush, the only two left alive. They're inside the dark cover, and it's not so good right now. Axelovia trades out one, but that's all he's going to get. Bleed. Only 3 rounds away from getting through with the 2-0.
Ini kalah udah 11,
Bleed aren't
Iko lagi
retaliating with their own shooting the body and shenanigans here. It seems like Alter Ego, it's a one-sided beef. You know, you cook one side, the other one's still pretty raw.
I love it, Bleed. When they go low, we go high. Just like our score right now, 10-7 in round number 18. If you're just joining us, it's been all Bleed in map number 1 here. Map number 2, Alter Ego, the Indonesian squad, has found a little bit of success, 6-6 at half. But Bleed have had an answer, and now with a couple of rounds in a row, Alter Ego starting to run out of money as Delbeat just sprints straight to Retla. Thank you very much, and Retla gets himself out.
They actually found a tag off of that Hunter Sphere. Adrenkin got tagged. Darian finds still on Kush as well. And we were talking about Delby and Kush being the standout players for Alter Ego. Once they're out, what can they do?
Yeah,
nggak dicek lagi tadi.
A pretty good game so far.
Delby masuk
Dread King
polosan
has been
juga
this
dia.
de facto leader, the spiritual leader here for Alter Ego. He's going to need to come up huge here in a 2v5, and he's not able to get one of them, which means it's a big task here for Axlovia. There's a smoke into the shadow. Easy read. You see, Maxi, he already knew exactly where he's going to come.
He knew. No one's sneaking past Maxi because he's the sneaker. And talking about that flawless round, you know what flawless round is? Normally all 5 members are alive.
Yeah.
But that flawless was a perfect
Nah,
flawless.
ini
None of them took
ketemu di
damage
12
at all.
ya kan?
There's no damage, one damage in armor or anything at all. All kills were clean.
I wish we could have seen the very first kill. I understand replay. It's hard to catch it when we have the fastest agent in Valorant use a high gear and sprint straight into death. Yeah. But you can't have that if you're Delby. Like Delby, you got to be the carry. You've had some great duels against Darian. But that one didn't work out. Darian gets another one. Tailwind gets himself out. Only 1 kill before resetting that ability one more time. But Darian having himself a much better second half than the first half. It was him and Maxi at the bottom, and now they're finding their stride. The whole squad of Bleed are finding their stride. They're finding the members and treating them like target dummies. Darian for 4 as Bleed get themselves to 12 rounds.
Akhir dari AE nih turun
All
ke
Darian
lowong.
does is walk up and right click with his knife. Doesn't do nothing
Udah aku
fancy.
bilang kalau Bainnya nggak dapet Heaven sama
having a little bit
Splitnya
of a slow
setengah
game, but he
mati
gets
anjir.
bursts.
Beneran anjir.
He's had a triple and a quad.
Yeah, that's true.
Where are those coming from? Like, he just feels it. And the thing about this game, right, is for Bleed, every one of them are finding the kills. Someone pops off, right? Someone always pops off.
Yes.
And Darian popped off in that round. On the side of Alter Ego, you mentioned it. It just feels like they're not all showing up
Correct.
this time around.
It was a compressed score line for Alter Ego. A couple of them were all sitting around, I think, like 10 to like 7 kills. On the opposite side, it was Pith leading the way before, and we're like, hey, where's Maxi? Where's Darian? Now, at the end of this, people are going to be like, oh, it was a Pith carry and Darian did well. No. It was multiple members doing well at individual moments, and now they've taken over the game as we are possibly in the final round. Delby with the slide onto the site. Seekers coming on through by Noxie to create some space here. They do have control, but Retla will be using the lockdown. It's in a very inconvenient spot. Oh, Aftershock, will that land onto it? Yes, it does. Great job to slow things down by a Dread King. Orbital Strike is ready by Axlovia, looking to see where he can place it. But Darian, with the possibility of a big move, comes down from heaven, descending and finds himself into hell. He misses the second one. Delby and Kush getting answers, but now Maxi with the operator trying to be smooth. He puts his gun barrel in the wrong spot, doesn't pull the trigger. Axlovia tries to get the wrong win, it does! And Alter Ego stay alive here.
Masih dikasih anjir.
They pulled it off. It looked like Bleed had control over
Ayolah,
it.
Bisa, ayo.
Axlovia clutch yet again. He's the one showing up for Alter Ego this time. He rescues them. And Darian, jumping off of that window, finds the first kill, but just too many things going on. Just couldn't figure out where the head was, got flashed, even got stunned, got taken out. He was going to hell, and he definitely went to hell.
He needed to subscribe to yesterday's, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Miyagi lesson.
Yep.
Take the deep breath, then land it, but wasn't quite able to his Bleed. They know they've got the money, they know everything's fine, but they're going to call the timeout here. Opposite side, Delby can't get
Ini
a full
kesempatan terakhir
buy.
dia udah.
Noxie has to go back to
Kalau
that
ini
bulldog yet
eksekusinya
again.
salah
It's still
lagi,
a long
udah
mountain to
selesai
go
udah.
here for Alter Ego.
Do you know that some teams
No
actually
mistake,
on the
man.
12th round,
Selama
they have
4
trouble
round ke depan
closing
no
out.
mistake.
And that's why all
Susah
of the
banget,
teams
Cuk.
like calling timeouts on round number 12. Because even though
Karena
you have so
manusia
much
tempatnya
space right now,
salah.
even though you
Pasti
still
bikin
have
mistake
4
pasti.
rounds for Alter Ego to win before
Mistake
they can get to
sekecil
overtime, you
apapun
want to close it out
akan
now.
berefek.
Because the more you play this round, when you're trying to close this, the more you actually feel the pressure to close it. Because if you lose this, you're like, oh yeah, just one more. You force the next one, just one more. You're 11-12, just one more. Turns into overtime.
And think about it, for this squad specifically in Bleed. Yes, they're the favorites here. They're the #1 team. But when you go back to stage 2, they had multiple times when they were leading Xerxia.
Exactly.
Multiple times where you just needed to close that out. They get the international experience. The payoff of the team feels all good. Everyone feels all warm inside. And they weren't able to. Yes, Alter Ego is not Xerxia, but these demons are very real as Bleed now starting to practice closing out games that they're supposed to win. Darian gets tagged a little bit through the sky smoke. And it is yet another A position, not a full push yet by Alter Ego.
Yeah, Alter Ego's been playing very slow. They're respecting the bleed setup. And right now, the operator on Darren, I think this is the first time we're seeing it in his hands. We saw it in Maxi earlier on. This time, we're actually seeing Darren on it. He's potent with this operator. And bringing it out just means they're serious business. They really want to close this out.
All right, well, they do know that the op is on A. So utility can be used to slow things down. I'm pretty sure they know it is Darien with it because you would hear the tailwind dash out of the way. Which means Maxi could be lurking, something that Alter Ego are very, very aware of. And look at Pith as well. Pith pretty far up C, so not too many numbers here on A. But here we go. Darien lands the first one. Kind of blinded, but gets picked off by Axe Love. Yeah, it's up to Lenny to slow him down, and Lenny cannot land his shots. And control taken by Alter Ego. Noxy is pretty well here as 3 members of Bleed still alive.
Lebar banget dia.
3 members still alive. Maxi is already creeping up heaven.
Pickingnya lebar, kemudian berhenti.
I'm not sure what they're thinking. They're not going to A just yet. Are they thinking about saving?
Is this just Maxi? Let's see if you can get some picks here. If not, we're just trying to damage them. Oh, that's one way to damage them. This could have been a round that they won if they full sold, but this is just a Maxi job. It's only him. Hasn't checked hell yet. There it is. Adren King is there. And now the exit's being controlled by Pith and by Retla to slow down the economy of Alter Ego.
I agree. If they went full send on that, they actually had a pretty good chance because Maxi finding the first kill meant that it was a 3v3. But right now, it's just too late. Too little, too late. After Maxi found the first kill, Redla and Pith were just not in position to do that. And this is exactly what Bleed wanted to avoid with that timeout. They wanted to close it out in that round, and they didn't.
Well, by not dying there, they still have decent economy to use for Bleed. Again, for Alter Ego, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, every round is buy up as much as you can. But another operator in the hands of Darien, that's expensive.
Yep, it is. If he doesn't buy that operator, he can buy a rifle for next round, but his operator just means that he really wants to close this out.
All right, so Bleed. This is match point what? Match point number 3, I think, here, as it's been a couple round wins for Alter Ego. Lenny getting tagged again through the smoke. We've been seeing this happen multiple times. Delby getting poked pretty hard down to 33. Regrowth should come out and heal him back on up to a decent number. Should be okay to keep going, but 3 members stacked on A this time. Bleed with, as you said, playing a game of like tic-tac-toe. 3 members here to stop the, it's like the 3rd push in a row, 4th push in a row here to A.
They really know that they can rush Darion or find someone on A to actually stop, but Pith is going to be there with the counter flash. Oh, and Kush finds Maxi. Is not successful with the lurk this time around, and this hurts for Bleed. Redla gets taken out as well. Oh my god, they're just killing everyone across the map. Darren finds the first kill, might want to save this operator, but he's just gonna go for the kills anyway. Finds 2. I think he might be able to do this if he's brave enough. Dashes away.
Again, no spike planted yet. And I has to think they're going A. Oh, he's getting okey-doked so hard.
30 seconds
and the bomb will go down C. I was going to say, maybe Adren King not double peeking there to get the kill, save the economy, but again, doesn't matter. Doesn't need to save the credits. They just need round wins. And so Darien with the operator. I wonder if he gets hunted down here. We were talking earlier, certain situations, if a team should hunt someone down. I assume with an operator you should hunt him down, but Darien now has 3.
But you're not going to want to hunt this man down because he's the one doing the hunting here. He's found 3, made it harder for Alter Ego. He wants to keep this operator for next round for sure. But if Alter Ego, for them, yeah, they don't need to save that much economy anymore, but there's also a point where if you don't have enough money, even if you win the round, you can't buy. You need at least 1K.
All right. AE does sound like ABC, which is always be closing, which is what Bleed needs to do right now. They're having some trouble, but they're getting some practice. Each one of these is his own possible match win here. Not even just a map win, but match win. And Bleed's just like, yeah, we just need some practice on it, that's all.
We're chilling.
Yeah. We're big chilling.
Pakai operator lagi.
Yeah, they're still pretty good. They still have the rifles for all of the members. They still
operatornya save ya tadi.
They just need to be able
to
hold and find these picks because they got itchy.
Yeah,
push forward, Rella push forward. They got taken out by a single push, and the rest of them also got wrecked on A long, and that was just completely unexpected because it looked like Bleed had the tools for success there. And Darion priming the dash, just wants to find a first kill into a dash, does not find anyone yet.
Yeah, someone please come through. Does not use the dash, so now does not have the dash. Something to be aware of. Oh, the blind. Does get one. As now Darion continues to hold the regrowth, getting some healing back to a Dren King. Again, we've seen a lot of that here at A. It's just positioning as it gets cleared out. And that one gets cleared out by Pith, who was also in A short with him. Here we go, Darion. Oh, and we finally turn off the sniper.
Dia sabar banget nunggunya.
And now, for the first time in the last, like, I think 4 rounds, Bleed have a numbers advantage to start. 12 to 10. 1 round more for Bleed, and they go home scot-free, 2-0. But Alter Ego still finding ways. Oh, the timing is so close. Kush is so close to finding him, but he will not. And so the rotation by Maxi goes unnoticed. Kush is now realizing, hey, no one is here, but yet another timing. Oh, he's not going to see Redla. They're going to touch backs. Oh, and he gets finished off.
No.
Unfortunate timing forces it into a major numbers disadvantage. The orbital strike's not going to find anyone. Running onto the side is Delvia. Dren King gets one, but the lineup means Axlovia is the last one alive. And Darion answers the call. It's Bleed being able to close it off. 13 to 10, and they win 2-0.
He drives the dagger into the back of Alter Ego, finishes that game with style. Bleed really showing us why they are the #1 team in the LCQ.
But also showing us where some of their issues lie. Closing out games, right?
Closing out games,
Getting a little slack, getting a little, as you said,